Sport.
We begin this broadcast by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which this match will be played today and pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. We extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples listening.
Welcome to ABC Sports coverage of Sir Doug Nicholls round.
Massive specky taken by Coffey. It was a spectacular hover.
Bradley Hill traps it here, snaps and goals.
Martin scoops it up, shakes the tackle. Martin, goals.
He is one of the most electrifying forces in the game, Maurice Rioli. And that's a moment as good as any you'll see in the competition this year.
Off to Wanganeen Malera. A little bit of class. He shows them how it's done. You can't keep a good man down.
Want them big bright lights, I want that center stage. All eyes on me, ain't this why you came?
He bursts away from Windsor. Good luck catching him. Cameron with a touch of class.
Bouncing ball. Simka goal.
Give me my moment, step aside.
Sir Doug Nicholls round on ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital and on ABC Listen.
For 10 long years, North Melbourne has spent September watching the greatness of finals footy. But after a decade in the wilderness, hope is building that the rebuild might finally be over for the Roos. After going toe-to-toe with some of the league's heavyweights, they are hungry for a statement win. And there's no better place to secure it than at a venue they've never won at, the Adelaide Oval this afternoon. There's potential thunderbolts and lightning around. It's very, very frightening for the Crows, who might just have a tough task in calling the young Roos. They're going to be without star forward Riley Thilthorpe. Taylor Walker's not there either. Could be a wet weather affair here in the Festival State. The Adelaide Crows have a tough run ahead, so they want to get the job done this afternoon. It is Sir Doug Nicholls Indigenous round. Great to have you with us on ABC Radio, Sport Digital and ABC Listen. Aaron Bryans to call the action for you this afternoon, and alongside me is Tom Wilson. Good to see you, Tom.
Good to see you, Aaron. Sir Doug Nicholls round, how fantastic it is, all the painting over the ground and our First Nations players that we celebrate throughout the competition, and we've got some very exciting ones here today. This is a fascinating contest. One of the stats that's been getting around this week is North have played here 13 times and never won, which is remarkable, but they'd have to come here thinking that they can break that drought. Lost 4 of their last 5, but are playing some pretty good football, and looking across the ground, I think a lot of their players would sit there and believe that they can win certainly their one-on-one matchup or their role today. So it should be an epic and so important for both clubs' seasons, especially the Crows, if they can get the ledger up, can continue the ledger going in the right direction, I should say.
They're slowly ticking off all, I guess, the requirements you'd need to be a contender at least, or a finals contender, North Melbourne, and you feel like this afternoon it's no better time to get the Adelaide Crows when they're undermanned. They've had a pretty tricky season, and you maybe get a wet weather affair as well in the city of Churches. It's going to be a very enticing affair. 3 First Nation players out there this afternoon. A couple of them are absolute superstars. Isaac Rankin's going to lead the charge. Wayne Miller, who designed the Guernsey for the Crows, and Jai Simpkin out there as well, the Yorta man. I should mention that Adelaide is going by the name of Goona during Indigenous round over the next couple of weeks, so we will weave that in throughout the call this afternoon. You'll hear a bit of Crows, a bit of Adelaide and a bit of Goona alongside North Melbourne, who have a Guernsey that is designed to feature Murrum, which is the Indigenous word for kangaroo, but they haven't fully adopted the name yet, so just North Melbourne for them so far. It's part of the next fortnight. A couple of star experts in the box for you. And there's a Premiership Crow. Rod Jameson's here as part of this afternoon's coverage. Good to see you, Jamo.
Aaron, thank you, Tom. Yes, welcome. Always a big round, and it is a time and an occasion where the Indigenous players do step up and just show off their talent, and it's unbridled at times, and we've got some class out there today.
Alongside Rod Jameson, 4-time Showdown medalist Josh Francou's here. Welcome, Josh.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. It's interesting when you talk about Sir Doug Nicholls round, look at Indigenous players playing this game, and I reflect on my playing days, with some of the names that I played with, the Wanganeen, Cockatoo Collins, Pickett, the Burgoynes, superstars of the game.
Another absolute legend was here today as part of the curtain raiser. So Eddie Betts' foundation put up a junior team against the Crows NGA Academy. So we got to see a little bit of them as well for those who came down nice and early for your Saturday. The text line 04 0437 774 774 as well if you do want to get in touch. Across the afternoon, plenty of footy coming your way. We've got Narm and Hawthorn as our middle game from 4:10 Eastern, which is the D's and the Hawks, and Carlton and Western Bulldogs to wrap things up at Docklands from 7:20 Eastern as well. I think we've been hyping it up as a danger game, gents, but how realistic is North Melbourne's chance this afternoon?
Oh, I actually think pretty realistic. Tom and I were just talking off air that the Adelaide starts haven't been good this year, and that's been well documented. Their midfield does worry me to a degree. We've seen Rankin and Rochelle go through there, and they've been able to pinch hit, but Berry's probably their mainstay. Dawson needs to play in the middle of the ground, but one of the strengths of the Kangaroos is their ability to win the contested ball. Conversely, Adelaide are ranked last in first possession at around the ground stoppages. So the midfield battle is going to be huge. But I think the Kangaroos will be coming over to Adelaide Oval quietly confident with what they're going to produce today.
Yeah, just quickly, Jamo and Josh, just watching the warm-ups, Braden, Cook and Dan Curtin in the midfield mix. So perhaps they're trying to find that right mix, especially against the young Roos.
I think Braden Cook has been outstanding, hasn't he, this year? Put in a big pre-season, and the way he performs too. Sam Berry has just taken his game to another level in terms of his clearance work, his ball-winning ability there. The back line has really stood up for Adelaide, and again, I know they're not going that well, but they're still winning, and they're banking their wins, and they've still got quality players to come back in. Mitch Hinge is not far away, Mark Keane, Taylor Walker's injured, Thilthorpe out, and Calamar Cheese running around the SNFL. So there's 5 or 6 quality players that are in their first 21, which, will certainly test the rest of the group, and hopefully they'll improve as the season goes on.
We dissected it a bit earlier in SA Grandstand for those who are listening in South Australia, where it feels like Adelaide just haven't found their identity yet as a side that were the minor premiers, but keep chopping and changing who's playing where. We saw Dawson at half-back for an entire half of footy against the Tigers before they pulled the trigger, and that might have been the game-deciding decision. Whereas North Melbourne, who've had a history of drafting midfielders, 11 of their last 13 first-round picks were mids, they finally feel like they've got a structure. Alistair Clarkson's got them humming. He knows who his guys are who are in the guts. They've got their bookends kind of locked in. You could argue maybe defensively they need another star, but I know what North Melbourne are doing, Jamo, compared to Adelaide, who are a bit of a mystery right now.
I think, you're right, you've highlighted. I think the profile of the lists are at different phases as well. So you've got a young group, and you certainly saw Alistair Clarkson a couple of weeks ago with McKerchie, he's not going to tolerate if you're not going to play your role or you're not do things better. So I think he's a lot firmer and harder around. He wants his team to play. And again, I don't mind throwing the team around with the flexibility to be able to play or swing them somewhere else, but the balance of how often do you do it too.
We're getting ready for our pre-match festivities here at the Adelaide Oval. Good crowd building up for the early start here in the festival state. Let's head downstairs as part of Sir Doug Nicholls' Indigenous round for the Welcome to Country on ABC Sport ahead of Goona and North Melbourne. And there is that late change. Riley Thilthorpe out and Luke Nankervis in. North Melbourne as named.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Adelaide Oval. Here on Kaurna land, today we celebrate Sir Doug Nicholls round, and it is my pleasure to welcome Kumakaru Group to perform today's greeting to Spirit of Place.
Nainari Luke Kudaka Wilson, Naigana, Nadanjeti, Naranga, Aranda, Nadri Mio, Matawicha Nalakumirna, Nawangati, Mani Nabudni, Karni Yarta Ana, Kumatana Yachamirna. Just quickly, we want to pay respect to the Yolngu people, traditional owners of the didgeridoo, traditionally known as a Yiraki, for allowing us to play here on country today. The 2 boys here and the kids are walking around to smoke the players and officials. What this does, it cleanses the land, it'll cleanse the players and officials to keep all the negatives away, so we can all get on and enjoy the game today. Where we stand today, where we meet, traditionally here in Adelaide, traditionally known as Tarandanya. Tarandanya is the dreaming of the big red kangaroo. Adelaide's been a place for people all over Australia to come together and meet and gather around for thousands of years. So we're very grateful to gather here today for a game that we all love to watch and support. I just want to extend our welcome to all other countrymen here today on our land, countrymen watching from your homelands on the TV, whether you've travelled far or near, you're a local or you're visiting, we want to extend that welcome to you as well. So officially we want to welcome you all to Kaurna country, and good luck to both teams today. Natalia, thank you.
Thank you to Kumakaru for that amazing welcome to country. Guyana will exchange a boomerang made from red gum. The boomerang is more than a tool. It represents connection, continuity, and responsibility to country. Like its journey, what we put into our teams comes back to us. Thank you, everyone.
So the welcome to country downstairs as part of Sir Doug Nicholls' Indigenous round in the build-up to Guyana. The Crows up against North Melbourne here at the Adelaide Oval. Just the one late change that was reported yesterday. So Riley Philthorpe's back injury that has been plaguing him over the last couple of months finally took its toll, and he is out with Luke Nankervis coming in. Means the Crows are running Darcy Fogarty and Toby Murray as their two talls up front. Lockie McAndrew didn't train all week either. He's playing. That will be the solo ruck. And Jordan Dawson out there after having to depart training yesterday due to some personal reasons. North Melbourne as named as well and looking to move to 5-5 with the victory, which would be a first ever here at the Adelaide Oval. It is great to have you with us as part of Saturday Footy on ABC Sport. Aaron Bryans, Tom Wilson, Rod Jameson and Josh Franco with you for the call.
Just looking around, the crowd a bit thin.
I think there's a few factors with that. I don't want to make excuses, but weather was looking a little ominous. It's gotten better. There's overcast clouds over kind of the eastern stand, but radar's looking a little bit more promising. Early footy, junior footy today, the early start. We've had a lot of kind of primetime games the last few weeks, Jamo, and finally we're kind of back to the Saturday morning slot.
It's quite actually good to, get the game over and done with. Not that I'm in a hurry for that to happen, but you can actually have a Saturday afternoon or a Saturday evening free. But, I think you're right. I think there's all other sporting, commitments by other families too. But here we are, Adelaide Oval. No better place, the most picturesque cricket ground or ground in the world.
Should be a good game as well. Both sides in similar form and both up for a really big task this afternoon, given the fixtures that are about to come their way. The Crows, Guernsey this afternoon, so both teams actually wearing their Indigenous strips. Adelaide's designed by Wayne Millerer, so it has footprints in the form of a sash across it that represent his path through country and football. There's a couple of circles down towards the bottom. There's a white dot outer one that represents his nana and his ancestors. The smaller circles represent his junior clubs, Ingle Farm and Central District. And there's a couple of handprints as well for his immediate family as well. North's is designed by Indigenous artist Emma Bamblett, so it's called We Are Marram, which is the Wurundjeri Wurrung word for kangaroo. It's quite beautiful, this one. So it's got the big roo across the middle, but inside of it there's a visual kind of tribute to the club's 33 past and present First Nations players. It's got elements of their 25 language groups in it. It's all really intricate. It's got a lot of interconnected line work and circle work, and there's kangaroo tracks as well. So two really, really nice strips in what is a fun round to kind of see visually what the Indigenous community has to offer. And now we are seeing the gift exchange as well. So you heard it as part of the pre-game ceremony, but Adelaide exchanging a boomerang made from red gum. North Melbourne are handing over some hand-carved clapsticks from an artist out of Shepparton, which is the relative bit area that Jai Simpkin is from as part of the Yorta Yorta tribe. So out in the middle, Dawson, Rankin and Wayne Millerer. Charlie Combin's out there with Jai Simpkin this afternoon and actually got to decide where the Roos were kicking young Charlie, and he's gone towards the northern end as part of this contest between Guyana and North Melbourne. What's it like down at ground level? Braden Ingram, welcome to the broadcast this afternoon.
Yeah, g'day Aaron, g'day team. Funnily enough, the sun has just popped its head out. We had a pretty decent shower about an hour ago. So, look, it is a little bit greasy underfoot. Saw Ben Keys just change his boots a short time ago. So we'll see whether that just come into effect. 18 degrees. It is 78% humidity as well. So it is pretty sticky at ground level. Possible thunderstorms, hoping, though, that they will stay away. The chance of rain is decreasing as the afternoon goes on. They're all set, ready to go down here.
Plenty at stake. Nick Rewalt said during the week that the Roos rebuild is over. It's time to stop grading on potential and start judging on expectation. And for Adelaide, Matthew Nick says we can see the upside. We've won 4 of the last 5 and we aren't playing well. So both have a point to prove. Where you leaning, Jamo?
I'm going to lead Adelaide, and I think the Kangas are on the right path. You know, they've won 4, but Port Adelaide, Essendon, Carlton, Richmond probably expected, and they've struggled against the others. Saw them in round 5 against Brisbane. They are competitive. They've got some talent, but Adelaide at home.
Josh?
Yeah, look, I think Adelaide will be too strong at home. The start's going to intrigue me, and ahead of the ball for North Melbourne, Larkey, looks like Butts has got the job on him. That's a big matchup from Adelaide's perspective.
Rankenberry and Dawson on ball alongside Davies Uniacke, Finn O'Sullivan and Harry Sheasel. Here we go. Goonner and North Melbourne as part of round 10 on ABC Sport. You're with Tom Wilson.
McAndrew knocks it down. Sheasel runs through for North Melbourne and is tackled by Berry without the footy. So the 2 number 3s going head-to-head. Sheasel wins the free. His teammates stream forward. Handballs it off to Zerha, who kicks a high drop punt inside the forward 50. Flying at that is Trembath, which he does so well. Brought to ground. Falls in the hands of Ball Ace. His quick kick out of defence only finds Luke McDonald for North Melbourne. Kicks to the top of the goal square. There's a free kick too high. And it's going to go North Melbourne's way. Nick Larkey, as you mentioned, Josh Francou gets the free kick 20 metres out directly in front.
What I will say, it's easy sitting up here in the comfort of the commentary box, but I thought Borlase just lacked a little bit of composure. Just the quick panic kick out of their D50, and ultimately they're going to pay the price for that.
So Nick Larkey, one of the best set shots in the game, slots it straight through, and the Roos are off to a stunning start. They've got the first goal within a minute, 1 straight 6. Crows yet to score.
Just Harry Sheasel in the middle too. He was on the run, wasn't he? Berry tried hard, but to go forward. And their forward line is just so formidable when you have a look at how strong they are overhead, not only through their bigger players, they're half the back line, but Trembath, Darling, Larkey, then throwing Paul Curtis, who just adds real dynamic.
Alistair Clarkson said during the week that he's actually playing through a PCL niggle from last year, Nick Larkey, but his numbers are still pretty good. He's had 23 goals now for the season.
He's a star.
Loves playing Adelaide. It's now 10 goals in the last 4 meetings. Early stages, I'm sure it'll grow across the afternoon. Roos by 6. A little bit of a delay here, but we are going to get underway at the Adelaide Oval again. Tossed into the air by Nathan Toner. Sherry with a double tap, sharp by Rankin, knocked it towards Dawson, who thumps it forward. Simpkin commits the body, coming the other way was Pedler. Ricochets out to Curtin. There's a free kick though. McAndrew taking Sherry down off the ball, and the Roos will get it. Shoots the handball out to the run. Sheasel wide to Zerha, playing off half-back again this afternoon. Gives it to Simpkin, the Yorta man. Stops and props and retreats on the back 45. Defensive edge, broadcast wing, Griffin Logue. Gives it to Caleb Daniel back at home. Feigned the kick and then darts his way through. Neil Bullen kicks up. Short pass, stabs it towards Larkey far from home. Good ball movement from the Roos. Larkey up to left half forward. Towards the paint, Sheasel strong over Rankin. Takes the mark and might just be in range.
I like the way that the Kangaroos just held the footy, composed, didn't give it up, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I thought Daniel was outstanding. Almost confused himself, but got away with it. And just the little hit-up lead for Larkey, and that was a terrific kick there from Larkey to find Sheasel.
On a 12 first-round picks out there for the Roos this afternoon. He's their reigning best and fairest. What a year he's having already. Harry Sheasel opens up, darts to the right, doesn't get the connection. Belly the ball up towards the top of the goal square. It'll sit, big fly, and the mark taken by McAndrew at the top of the defensive goal square. So it's North by 6, 2 minutes in. Here at the Adelaide Oval at ABC
he's missed
Sport.
the target of Cook. Turnover straight away deep in their forward line. Handball goes to Sherry. Dylan Stevens on the left boot. Snaps around the body. They get away with one. Minus score away to the left. They're 1-1-7. Crows yet to score. 3.5 minutes gone.
I might have said it a few times here before, but Ruckman, don't hit short 45s.
Should have realised when he's kicking out the defensive goal square, it would be tough. They've turned it over again here. The kick too short, smothered. Colby McKercher gets a handball out under duress, but he turns it over to Worrell, although another tackle's been laid off the ball and a free kick going North Melbourne's way. Rory Laird bringing Paul Curtis down. Didn't quite have control of the footy when he ducked him, and it will be a free kick, 10 out, slightly to the right.
What I will say, those free kicks when you take possession and it gets knocked out, to get then called holding the man against you, I reckon that's a tough call. Now, technically there, but I don't like those decisions.
It's hard to know when the ball pops out,
True.
isn't it, when you're in the tackling motion?
Yeah.
Curtis comes in, couple of steps from 25 and heaves it into the northern hill. And the Roos with the hot start. 2-1-13. Adelaide yet to score. 4 minutes in. It's Saturday footy on ABC Sport with Rod Jameson and Josh Francou.
Well, 19 disposals to 6, all in favour of the Kangaroos. 3 inside 50s, 11-2 uncontested again. Just in the first 4 minutes, the Kangaroos maintaining and holding possession whilst working forward. And Adelaide have given up 2 frees that have been very costly, and then the 2 mistakes to put their backline under pressure.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, Jamo, the free kick count at the moment is 4-0, but they've all probably technically been there, and they're paying the price for it at the moment, Adelaide. But and again, it's a hot start from the Kangaroos, but Adelaide paying the price for their slow starts. Small sample size, but they've got to get themselves back in this contest.
Everyone was critical of Harry Shields, weren't they, the last couple of years and how he's played, but what a midfielder he's turned himself into.
McAndrew knocks it towards Peatling, who tackles Sherry, and another free kick. Not sure what that one was for. I certainly understand the Crows fans' frustration. The umpire says too high. So he kicks out wide towards Parker, misses the target, puts him under pressure, but he pushes Keys out the way, too strong. 1-2 with Sheasel, and then a sweeping handball to Sherry in the middle of the ground. Back to Davies-Uniacke. He goes by hand to Caleb Daniel, who hits another 45 kick to Sheasel. He's at right half forward for the Roos. They go inside the forward 50 again, but this target's missed. McAndrew.
Go long, McAndrew.
Takes the intercept mark and left back
handball,
pocket.
don't kick.
Right in front of the scoreboard. Big Lockie Mack gives it a lot. Up towards the eastern side, the fly from Toby Murray crunched the pack, but front and square was Sheasel. Quick handball out to Parker. Dylan Stevens now, right half forward, sets sail and misses to the right. The Roos are hungry right now. 2-2-14. Adelaide yet to score. Wayne Miller plays on and sends them to the broadcast wing.
Almost hasn't been past centre half forward for Adelaide, and now it's going back straight into their defensive area once again.
Yeah, the only time when they went backwards. So Simpkin takes the intercept mark, centering ball, can't quite hit the target of McKercher. It's brought to ground, then he lays a strong tackle. We'll have a ball up 35 out from goal.
Adelaide have only touched the footy. I had 8 disposals, and we've been playing 4.5 minutes of actual game time.
That's 6.5.
Well, 6.5. That's staggering.
So ruck contest, knocked down by McAndrew, roved up there in the forward line by North Melbourne, all the way back to Simpkin, who unloads from 50 just away to the left. They're peppering the goals, the Roos. Another minor score though, 2-3-15, 7 minutes gone, first term.
Inside 50s, 6-0, contested possessions, uncontested possessions, North Melbourne all over the Crows.
Worrell bangs it long. It was to a one-on-one, and Sherry floats in front comfortably to take the intercept mark.
And already know what the first question in the press conference will be after the game. How are you going to address your slow starts?
Yeah. Well, they're on an 8-game losing skid in terms of first quarters. Sherry with the switch to Zerha, out to McDonald, and now Caleb Daniel right in front of the Bashir stand. Chip kick, just the required 15. Dylan Stevens finding a lot of the footy.
Tell you what's not helping either is Rankin's the only midfielder that's touched the ball. He's had 1 disposal. The rest are defenders.
St. Peter's product back at home. Stevens into the 50. He's looking for Trembath, knocked over. It's the deck. Gathered by Peatling to Laird, then Worrell. Clean handball chain out of trouble. Ball ace to Dawson. Squeezes a kick around the smother. Gets it up towards the eastern side, and it'll roll over last touch. The last disposal free kick going North Melbourne's way. So Goona, the Crows, yet to score. North Melbourne 2-3-15, 8 played opening term. Short pass back in from Zerha, hits Stevens and then gets it back again. The 1-2 as he blazes by, back into the 50, another entry. Wayne Miller puts down an uncontested mark, under a bit of pressure now, gets it to Borlase, spun around, gives it away. Sherry to Davies-Uniacke, darts to the scoreboard. Borlase wraps him up, gets a handball back. Simpkin to Spargo, check side, tight angle, misses to the right. Loving the brand of footy from the Roos right now, but they're not quite getting the reward. They're up by 16 over Goona, who are yet to score. We've played 8 minutes.
Actually, any Adelaide players out there? Like, seriously.
They got the footy now, Jamo. Peatling to Michael, and he goes short to Fogarty, who marks on his chest. Got some tough contact from Logue in front of the benches, but no 50. Fogarty gets his first touch, his first game since round 3. Short to Laird, to Michael Annie on the logo, looking for their first inside 50. Punched away over the boundary line by Zerha. But we will have a throw in right half forward for the Crows. They're trailing by 16 points, yet to have an inside 50 in the first 9 minutes of the game.
So at least in that play, they halved the contest and forced a boundary throw in rather than it coming back with interest, has for the first part of this first quarter.
8-0. Can they go inside the arc? McAndrew down to Dawson. Bounced off his bootlaces. Pedler tackled before the footy reached him. No free kick. Or was there? Very late. Non-controlling umpire comes in. Luke Pedler will get it to the Bronx cheers. A little too far out to score. He darts a low bullet in and floating across. Harry Sheasel gets in front of Toby Murray to cut it off. North Melbourne escape. Across the defensive goal face they go, and Luke McDonald now has it.
Number 7 for Harry Sheasel.
Luke McDonald in game 228 has had 4 Brownlow votes in his career. 2 of them have come against the Crows. Kicks out to right half back. It's a little long. At the back door, though, is Stevens, well tracked. He tries to break away. Tracking him was Michael Lanny. Gets him. Turnover. Handball over the top. Keys, left half forward. Sends Adelaide back inside 50. Murray flies. Little nudge from Comben. Hits the deck. Neil Bullen tracking it. Pedler barges in with the bulldozer. Ricochets the ball central. It's 20 out. Falling into it. Curtin, we're coming back. Whistle. And a free kick to James Peatling, who's straight in front, 25 out. High contact as Sheasel put an arm over the shoulder.
Well, just going back to that entry from Pedler just a few moments ago, probably not the kick in the state of the game. Go longer and go deeper. Get a contest, force a contested scenario to try to force a ball up inside their forward 50. But good opportunity here for Adelaide to get one on the board against momentum.
Boy, do the Crows need this. James Peatling had 3 the last time they played the Roos in round 24, and that is a gorgeous strike. Celebrated immediately. Right over the goal umpire's hat to the Riverbank stand. James Peatling gets Adelaide's first. Guana a 1 straight 6. North Melbourne 2-4-16. 11 played in the opening term on ABC Sport.
Well, they were slow, but they finally got there too. As the numbers over the back. Toby Murray up against 3, and then the footy was on the ground and became dangerous for the defenders. But already the influence that the midfield of the Kangaroos are having on the game and their ability to maintain possession, and they are the number 1 pressure team in the competition. So Adelaide, once they've got the footy, they've got to be able to use it, because if they don't, they're under enormous pressure.
And we spoke about the clearances and the differential. Adelaide have been pretty poor in that space. Conversely, the Kangaroos have been outstanding, and at the moment it's 4-1 North Melbourne's way.
And Curvis onto a wing.
So Dawson into the ruck for North, knocks it down towards Wardlaw, and it's going to be a throw against Wardlaw. So a few free kicks going the way of Adelaide now. Jordan Dawson, the skipper, gets it in the centre circle, runs around on that left boot, goes inside the forward 50, up towards Pedler, got 2 hands to it. McDonald over the footy, low legs a tackle. Luke Davies-Uniacke is there. He was tackled in the contest, goes to Keys, goes to Taylor, a spin from Berry, a balk from Berry, a smother from Sheasel. Ball in dispute, a high tackle on Taylor against McKercher, so another free kick goes Adelaide's way. They'll get a set shot 40 out directly in front.
Tell you what, Gemma, I really like that deep entry from that free kick in the centre bounce to Jordan Dawson. What it does, again, if you get a contest, bring the ball to ground, you get your small forwards to get to work, put pressure on the ball carrier, and on that occasion drew the free kick with the high contact.
Zach Taylor playing his role really well. Said during the week that he's got the graveyard shift of the small pressure forward and running up the wings. He does like to convert in front of goal. 45 metres out, Zach Taylor hits it all right. Makes the goal umpire move too far to his right, and we get a minus score to the left. So Adelaide 1-1-7, North Melbourne 2-4-16. 13 minutes gone for ABC Sport.
Talk about the graveyard shift on the wing. They're running 17 kilometres, upwards of 17 Ks.
And creating space, you might not get it.
Yep.
Caleb Daniel plays on. The Premiership Bulldogs sends it to left half back. Ooh, Dawson takes the mark.
It's 200 centimetres.
He was the 3rd string ruckman in the VFL and has got a gig to help out Tristan Sherry. Down the line he goes, charging across Jordan Butts with a fist, thumps it towards the benches. Boundary throwing to come. It was a first-round pick, Will Dawson, drafted as a backman and is now kind of a makeshift pinch hit ruckman. His 10th game this afternoon.
Butts coming up on his 100th game. There he gets his fist to it, but he actually was in the best position to take the mark.
Back from the groin injury, and he thought it'd keep him out until after the bye. Tossed in, Murray doing the ruck work against Dawson, who wins it down for the Roos. Sliding across his Wardlaw, quickly tackled. He did dive onto the footy, and Saligo wins the free kick as a result. Who would have it just behind centre wing broadcast side.
Good to see Jake back in the team. more regularly after his minor heart surgery, wasn't it, Aaron?
Yep, short pass to Peatling. Rochelle now into the 50. Lace out delivery to Fogarty. Had Condon breathing down his left neck and just launched out. Tight angle, 40 from home, clunks it. And that is a big momentum build-up
50.
On return. He will be marched to the top of the goal square. Darcy Fogarty, who's missed a month of senior footy, with a big grab early, and will get a gimme goal in front.
Pushed him through the hoarding of the fence. Darcy Fogarty.
So Fogarty, Walker and Thilthorpe played 22 of 25 games together last year, and they've only been out there twice together this season. It's all on Big Fog this afternoon, and what a great way to start. 50 metres, top of the goal square. He bangs it into the Riverbank stand. Suddenly the margin's just 3 points. North Melbourne 2-4-16. Goonnar the Crows 2-1-13. 15 played opening term. Braden Ingram downstairs.
James Peatling's been busy in the past few minutes, already with 4 touches, but he's got a bit of claret around the nose, so he's just come off to get that treated. It's gone across both arms too, so might be off for a few minutes.
Jamo, that kick inside 50 from Josh Rochelle, you'd like a couple of him, wouldn't you? One in the midfield and one ahead of the ball, but that was absolutely outstanding. Just put it into the advantage of Fogarty and ultimately got the 50-metre penalty and shot on goal. But that entry by Rochelle, that's why he's all class, and that's why they like him and keep exposing him to midfield minutes.
I guess that's where the defence, don't they give you a bit of space because they want a zone. They don't want to go man on man. But if it's laced out like that, you don't have a chance as a defender.
Rankin and Rochelle in the midfield for Adelaide. Toby Murray in the ruck. Knocks it down, but gathered by Wardlaw. His handball over his head fell in the lap of Rochelle. Quick kick forward with Keys. Now to Berry inside the forward 50. And he hits Jake Saligo, who's floated forward. And he copped a hit from Combin on his way past. But the umpire says, go back and take your shot, Solly. And he will from 50 metres out in a 45-degree angle on the left.
Good set of bounce win there from Adelaide. They didn't win first possession, but they were able to pressure enough, and talk about that entry inside forward 50 to advantage, almost undefendable.
So lifting their inside 50s here, the Crows, with some momentum. And after the start they had, they've got a chance to go in front. Saligo from outside 50. He's got the journey. He's got the accuracy. And the Crows hit the front. 3-1-19, North Melbourne 2-4-16, almost 17 gone in the first term.
Well, as good as the Kangaroos were in the first sort of 10 minutes of this quarter, Alistair Clarkson would be, I think, infuriated with the way the team has performed for the next 6 minutes with just their ability. I think it was when Adelaide have gone inside 50, they've pretty much scored every time, as opposed to the Kangaroos missed 4 and probably should have had 4 or 5 on the board with the easy misses.
And the other
amount of football they had.
Yeah, the other thing as well, Jamo, it just highlights, we mentioned it so many times here on ABC, that the importance of winning the centre bounce clearance and getting field position off the back of that. It's difficult to move the ball length the ground, but you can win that centre bounce and get speed inside your forward 50. It puts the defenders under the pump.
Speaking of, how about this? Rochelle and Rankin to start this centre bounce. We haven't seen it often. They've floated the potential of it. Here we go. Dawson down. Rochelle first to the footy, pulled away from it. Gathered by Wardlaw. North Melbourne get the clearance. Towards the 50. Looking at the one-on-one. Darling out. Muscled by Ball Ace. They were entangled. He pushed off him late. His kick is terrible, though. About 10 metres. Wardlaw's cut in front, and they're going to pay the mark. Slips catch as he darted in front. And a set shot to come for North Melbourne.
It's the third kick that's been intercepted in the fence of Adelaide. Their own doing, that short kick, missed the target. The Kangaroos again highlighting where they've gone from the number one or to the number one defensive team from 14. It's a massive improvement over the summer.
You can hear the buzz of the ground just peter away. George Wardlaw off the turnover. Long approach. Crosses the paint of 50, kicks on line and finishes strong. George Wardlaw puts the Roos back in front. Our second lead change of the afternoon. North Melbourne 3-4-22. Goonnar 3-1-19. A couple of texts coming through as well on 0437 774 774. Lauren and Rushworth's loving Sir Doug Nicholls Indigenous round. Jan from Euroa says, love ABC. Go North Melbourne. You can win this match. Don doesn't like us using Goonnar as Adelaide's name. We're going to keep using it, Don, because it's all about education over the next couple of weeks. Another listener is wondering if we should call the Kangaroos Gangura, which is their traditional name. There's 150 different language groups in the Indigenous community, so it might be the name for them in one of them, but Marram is what the Roos are rolling with for their strip this afternoon. They're up by 3 in the first term.
Fantastic contest so far at Adelaide Oval. First game on Saturday afternoon. McAndrew knocks it down towards Dawson. He sockers it off the deck, hits the chest of Rankin. Daniel punched it away. Finn O'Sullivan gathered it for the Roos, gets it to Simpkin. Now to Davies-Uniacke. He's kicked down the line, missed Larkey, but he was able to gather on the second attempt. Strong tackle laid there by Berry all over his Roos opponent. We can't see him on the bottom of the pack there. And it was Constanti at the bottom. Let's go to Braden Ingram.
Might have been a little head clash there for Berry. Looked sore for a moment, but he's back at his feet now.
Yep, lining up against Davies-Uniacke in the ruck contest. Sherry through McAndrew out the way. Berry tackles Davies-Uniacke, goes to Wardlaw. He goes the 1-2. Clever stuff. Inside the forward 50, looking for Darling. Falls out the back for Spargo. And Laird pushes him over. And the footy out over the boundary line. We'll have a throw in left forward pocket for the Roos. They lead it by 3 points into time on first turn.
Well, Davies-Uniacke was outstanding in that stoppage, wasn't he? Just strong, composed, didn't fold in the tackle, just held his feet and distributed it superbly.
Tossed in, North's 50. Sherry battling with McAndrew off hands. Curtin gathers in the air and is tackled for his troubles. Got a handball out of duress, but Wardlaw picks it up 40 from home. Shakes off Rochelle. Centres the kick top of the goal square. Just a little bit too hot for Larkey. Right over his head into the arms of Ball Ace. Short pass across to Cumming, right back pocket. Send Adelaide back to the broadcast wing. This is where they've battled, but he hits the target this time. Toby Murray in game 5. Marks and goes central. Short pass back towards Michael Annie, and now Cumming streaming by.
Great kick.
Perfect kick to Rankin. No one stands the mark, and it's going to be 50 metres. Rankin sensed it, and he pointed to the umpire. They're wanting to take the advantage. Well, Josh Rochelle is, but I think we can stick with Isaac Rankin, Crows fans, to have a shot 20 metres out.
Well called, Tom. I reckon it wasn't two. He took the mark, he turned around to handball, and he actually just pointed that the Kangaroos player did not stand and forced the umpire to make the call. But just Peatling's run, wasn't it, two off the half-back line. The kick inside from Toby Murray, a little dangerous with the first 3 being intercepted, but he still continued to do it. And then the run from behind.
And coming to Rankin, and Rankin's going a long way back here. Have to be 30 metres back from the mark. So Griffin Logue is on that mark, and Isaac Rankin finally steps towards goal. In comes Isaac. Chips it over Griffin Logue and chips it straight over the goal umpire's hat. The Crows have the response and regain the lead through Isaac Rankin. They're 4-1-25. North 3-4-22. 22 minutes gone first turn.
Well, the other thing that passage of play highlights is how important that critical contest is when Toby Murray marked the ball. So that exit kick from D50, if you can mark the ball there and maintain possession in that scenario, then the ability for Adelaide to move the footy. I think you said it was a Cumming, that kick was just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal in terms of his ability to hit that target under pressure and just set up their movement inside their forward 50 for Adelaide was absolutely superb.
Inside 50's number 6 for Adelaide, 4-goal-1. So that's a real concern for Alistair Clarkson. 10 for the Kangaroos for 3-goal-4, but they've had it in their forward 50 for a lot of this quarter.
Voices of Rod Jameson, Josh Francou on ABC Sport. Roos and the Crows going blow for blow. Currently it's Gouliner leading and Adelaide getting the free kick out of the middle.
Stepped over the line.
Lockie McAndrew handed the footy and pumps it hard towards the 50. Flying Rochelle, fist came in. Daniel, the man who had to wait for the drop, and he's set upon. We'll get a ball up. 40 out. Riverbank stand end, right-hand side of your radio dial.
Sounded like a circus act. Flying Rochelle.
Tossed up. Sherry dispatched McAndrew before the drop and then wins the footy. Gets it out to Stevens. Hot handball. Got it wide to McDonald. He gets it across to Davies-Uniacke. He's running out of ground as he's backtracking. Gives it to Parker. Just hacks it out of there. Cutting across Constanti very clean. Gets it to McKercher. And now Daniel. The handballs are so slick. And the Roos now are surging. Took a bit of time though. Did O'Sullivan. He's tackled for his troubles. And it lingered after the ball popped out, did it? Wardlaw's going to get it. Miller was the one who brought him down shortly after that handball. So Wardlaw pops up, heads to left half forward. Kick was a little shallow for his target. Darling couldn't get there and it pinballs out over the boundary line. So it was just so frenetic, and Miller had probably just jumped the gun a bit off that handball received from O'Sullivan.
Well, I just watched Isaac Rankin. He anticipated where the footy was going to go and he just kept running and ran down Finn O'Sullivan. And then the next handball, that's when the free was given. But great defensive work.
Boundary throw in. Crows leading by 3. Left forward flank for the Roos. Sherry knocks it down, regathers, tries to get it to Wardlaw, but barging through was Taylor. He did the Wardlaw on Wardlaw. Kicks up towards Toby Murray, who marks centre wing. Finds Pedlo straight through his hands. Don't often see that. Fell on the lap of Parker. A 45 kick to McKercher.
What a matchup that is, too. Pedler and Parker, those two go at it.
Two balls, Jamo. So McKercher asked to play on at left half back for North Melbourne. Kicks towards Sheasel right in front of the interchange gates and the boundary line, and he takes them up.
Disposal 8 incoming for Harry Sheasel. Could be a big afternoon. Steps inboard through the logo. Kicks North up to left half forward. Lucky's the target 2 to beat. Butts clattered into him too high. Free kick to the Roos.
It's a little bit clumsy, wasn't it?
Trembath's floated forward in space. Lucky doesn't really see him. Short pass, not 15. Gives it to Simpkin. Now has to rush his kick. Around the body, he sets it up. 20 from home. Big fly from Trembath, but he put it down late. Gee, flew in and almost took out his teammate in Zane Dersma. Adelaide mop it up. The clearing kick, though, a dicey one back to the broadcast wing. North have the numbers. Parker gives up some ground back to McDonald, and through the centre square he goes to Lowe.
Offensive side of the centre circle. And the full switch is on. Finds Myers out there on the logo. He's just going to kick a high ball up towards right half forward. Catch that to Sherry. Brave was coming. Probably deserved a free kick, according to the Crows fans. Ball goes in dispute and we'll have a ball up right half forward.
Well done. Put himself in the right position too. Cherry coming.
Here's a steam train. Ball up, roved by Finn O'Sullivan. He just took it all on his own, but fumbled the important moment. Nankervis, the late in today, gathers the footy. Kicks it out of the Crows' defence up towards the wing. Strong grab almost by Comben, and the umpire's going to pay it.
Goodness me.
You feel like this has been over-umpired?
Yes.
They pay that in under nines when my nephew plays on a Sunday morning for the Goody Saints, but not there.
Charlie Comben won't press the case. He takes the free kick and sends it up towards the 50. Berry in front position takes a nice uncontested grab as McAndrew keeps Sherry out of it.
There's already been 13 free kicks paid this quarter, which is a lot.
Berry steps off his line. Lenny T calls him to play on, but no one really rushes him, so takes his time and heads across the defensive 50. Miller waits it well. Defensive edge, broadcast side. Coming marks, releases Laird. Running his way towards the benches. He screws it inboard. Kick taken by Pedlutz. Good ball movement.
Too slow.
Hands it towards the corridor. Peatling, a couple of steps, tries to place it to half forward. Too cute. Parker coming the other way, intercepts. North Melbourne with the footy, but they're down 3. Had the first 2 goals of the game. Been trading the lead ever since. McKercher marks and heads to right half back to McDonald. Little stab 45 inboard to McKercher. Crowd asked the question, get the tape measure out, but marks paid. Colby, the Tasmanian, heads across. Mark taken at left half back by Comben.
Be too many quarters. Alex Neil-Bullen's gone without a touch.
So McKercher from left half back down the line, looking for Dersma. Curtin dropped the mark, and it's off the boot of Simpkins, so that's unlucky. It'll be a lasso free kick going the way of Laird.
Just been looking behind the play as well. Looks like Constanti's actually got a run with defensive forward role on Miller, which I actually don't mind that from the Kangaroos' perspective, because Miller is such a dangerous player.
Great spot, Josh. So the kick from Laird went to Peatling, who dropped a sitter. Falls back to Laird. He goes down the line now. 2 Roos fly. One waiting down was Curtis, who gathered the footy. Handballs it off to Logue, up towards Larkey at centre half forward. Butts did enough to just put him off. Gathered the footy. Handballs to Keys. Look at Rankin run through the middle of the ground. Runs through centre half forward. Took the full measure. Missed the shot. Would have been a little contender for goal of the year from the First Nations man. Minor score, Adelaide 4-2-26 North, 3-4-22, 28.5 gone first term.
He just runs like a majestic racehorse, doesn't he? Like in the open through the middle of the ground, had one bounce, and just his talent is incredible.
Absolute jets from Rankin. Short pass out of defensive goal square from Parker. Gets it out towards McDonald. Searching ball down the line. Front position, Dawson. Cuts off Zane Dersma. The skipper has it. True centre wing right in front of the benches. It's Adelaide by 4. Roos need to be careful. That Isaac Rankin near goals straight up the spine off turnover, which is where the Swans got them last week. Adelaide, meanwhile, have been kind of camped at the wings for most of this quarter. Rory Laird now has it at right half forward.
And Curvis in the middle if he wanted him.
Laird decides to set it up on the march. Pedler getting back in time, though, is Davies Uniacke. Courageous, backing into the drop. Pedler didn't really crunch into him. Intercept mark for the Roos, and Davies Uniacke just sends it back where it came from, but he's buffeted off his kick as he does so. Darcy Fogarty just a little careless down the line, free kick to the Roos.
I like the choice of words buffeted. He was bashed. Fogarty's eyes lit up then, didn't they?
And it was a downfield free,
yeah,
effectively a 50. Yep. So he benefited from one. He had one in the tank. So Dersma takes the downfield free, kicks up towards Larkey, got two hands on it, and he gathers his own footy. There's not much to kick up forward, so he goes back to Sheasel. His left foot kick's not great. Went straight to Dan Curtin for Adelaide, looking for Fogarty, who marks on the chest. Isn't it great to see for the Crows fans?
40 seconds remaining.
He's looking fit. Missed 6 weeks of footy, and he thought about a centering ball, but goes back to Isaac Cumming at right half back. There is still time, Jamo, as you mentioned, and the switch is on to ball ace at centre half back.
I think he'd originally spotted Braden Cook, did Darcy Fogarty, but he just kept running and turned his back to him. So now they've done it the hard way, and they've got there eventually. Rochelle, front of the Bashir stand, low mark, pops up, kicks towards the 50, backtracking. Saligo just lost it in the sun, hits the deck. Couple of Roos swarming, pinballing backwards. Pedler can't control it. And thank you very much, says O'Sullivan as he hands it across. Stevens with the exiting kick, and Comben with a good grab in front. He's near the Williams stand. It's Adelaide by 4, but they'll take it, given the Roos hot start. North had the first 6 scoring shots. Adelaide kicked 3 unanswered after that. They trade blows and finish with a 4-2-26 lead to North Melbourne's 3-4-22. Goal scorers in the first change for Goona. We've got Peatling, Rankin, Fogarty and Saligo, all with individuals. Meanwhile, for North Melbourne, Curtis, Larkey and Wardlaw. Love to have you as part of our company this afternoon. Text line 0437 774 774. Ashley's loving the call and the celebration of Sir Doug Nicholls' Indigenous round. So you can get in touch with us on 0437 774 774. Plenty of footy coming your way as well. So Narm and the Hawks at the G up next. That's the D's and Hawthorn at 4:10 Eastern Standard Time. And Carlton and the Western Bulldogs tonight at Docklands. So you can stay with us throughout the day for your triple header on ABC Radio, Sport Digital and ABC Listen. This is Saturday Footy on ABC Sport.
Bet you didn't know we're the world's biggest gamblers.
Totally crippled my life.
Bingo! I'm finding out why and if we really are the lucky country. Join me, Sean McAuliffe, Going for Broke.
Starts Tuesday, May 19 on ABC TV and ABC iView.
On ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital, and on ABC Listen. This is Sir Doug Nicholls Round with ABC Sport.
Luton gone for North Melbourne. Kicks to the top of the goal square. There's a free kick too high. And it's going to go North Melbourne's way. Nick Larkey. So Nick Larkey, one of the best set shots in the game. Slots it straight through. And the Roos are off to a stunning start.
Colby McKercher gets a handball out under duress, but he turns it over to Worrell, although another tackle's been laid off the ball and a free kick going North Melbourne's way. Rory Laird bringing Paul Curtis down. Curtis comes in, couple of steps from 25 and heaves it into the northern hill. And the Roos with the hot start.
Toby Murray in the ruck, knocks it down, but gathered by Wardlaw. His handball over his head fell in the lap of Rochelle. Quick kick forward with Keys. Now to Berry inside the forward 50. He hits Jake Saligo, who's floated forward. Saligo from outside 50. He's got the journey. He's got the accuracy. Perfect kick to Rankin. No one stands the mark, and it's going to be 50 metres. Rankin sensed it, and he pointed to the umpire. In comes Isaac. Chips it over Griffin Logue and chips it straight over the goal umpire's hat. The Crows have the response.
This is Sir Doug Nicholls Round on ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital, and on ABC Listen.
Cracking game to start your Saturday. Both the Roos and the Crows are in for a big afternoon. A lot at stake. Just the statement they need to make. Goona Adelaide currently sitting at 5-4 and have a tough run ahead. They'd just love to get the job done this afternoon. North Melbourne, meanwhile, at 4-5 are looking for one big scalp. They've pushed some of the big names. Haven't quite got over the line. They've never won at this venue either. Started pretty hot. First 6 scoring shots, up by 16 though. Didn't really cash in. Adelaide with a late response, and now Goona lead by 4. Aaron Bryans, Tom Wilson calling the action for you. Your experts to break it all down. Premiership Crow Rod Jameson, All-Australian midfielder Josh Francou.
Well, Jano, it was an interesting quarter of footy, wasn't it? We spoke about Adelaide starts pre-game, and they have been poor this year, and I guess that trend continued. North Melbourne were all over them. At one stage, it was 6-0 inside 50s. And I think you even said in that, probably about the 10-minute mark, or about the 8 or 10-minute mark of that first quarter, it didn't look like there were any Adelaide players out there. Their midfield weren't getting hold of it. Then all of a sudden, they started to get a bit of ascendancy and field position off the back of some centre bounce wins and looked pretty dangerous ahead of the ball. Rankin started to get involved. He looked dangerous. Rochelli's looking dangerous. But ultimately, for North Melbourne, some of the, I guess, disposal inefficiency and their inability to go inside 50 with any sort of method has ultimately hurt them at this quarter-time break.
No, just wasteful too, weren't they? When they had Adelaide on the ropes in that first 10, they could have had 6-0 pretty much on the board and had them really up against it, and Adelaide have worked their way back into it. I think, again, just a midfielder, the Kangaroos stepping up. Harry Sheasel's the one, Luke Davies, Uniac the other, Dylan Stevens on the wing. McKirch has come in there. Cherry's winning his own taps, his clearance work. Jai Simpkin also too, and then Wardlord started on the bench, and he's really got going. So I think Adelaide, they've dropped a couple of easy marks, both in their forward 50 or that kick and a half outside their forward line to be able to then maintain possession to go forward. I thought Pedler also missed, Taylor and another player, I think it was Nankervis. If he had have just seen it and hit it and kicked it, he would have got it in there, as opposed he went long down the line. Of course, then the Kangaroos take another defensive mark and away they go. I was looking at Damien Monkhurst, who's been a close coaching support for Alistair Clarkson for some time, and just how big he is at the minute, filling out the blue and white very well. But then I spotted Tom Lynch, which is the Adelaide Tom Lynch, who's been over at the Kangaroos for some time. So I thought I'd just double check Tom, just to see how many games he played here at Adelaide. So I've Googled Tom Lynch, and up it's come. And then I go down a little further and said he played at the Gold Coast for 131 games and Richmond for 110. They've got the wrong Tom Lynch.
They've got the wrong photo there.
Yeah.
It was a nice reunion in the pre-game, though. Darcy Fogarty has Tom Lynch as his profile picture on his socials, and they got together as part of the build-up to this game this afternoon. Braden Ingram's downstairs as part of ABC Sport. What's happening down there, Braden?
Matthew Nick's not one to get too direct, but I tell you what, this has been a relatively, or quite an animated address. He's still going while the Roos have broken from their huddle, and he's brought them in tight. So he's been effectively directing traffic, almost talking about body positioning. Clearly some frustration in that first term. 8 of the top 10 ball winners are North Melbourne players, and the top 2 for the Crows are Rory Laird with 10 and Borlays with 8. So clearly that's not where they want to be getting their hands on the ball, as you guys suggested.
Absolutely, Braden. If you look, as you said, at the numbers, and we mentioned that early in that first quarter, just not enough of the Crows midfielders getting hold of the footy. Dawson's probably a bit of a lone soldier in there. Rankin's done bits and pieces. He does look threatening, obviously, with ball in hand, but, Berry hasn't had a huge impact either, so they need to start to get going in there.
Well, within his rights too, to let one go too. Yeah. Like it's been coming for some time, and that first 10 minutes is nowhere near any team would have wanted to play or start a game, particularly when that is the Achilles heel at the moment.
A lot of gesturing from Matthew Nicks. Let's see if they got a response. Adelaide by 4. Second term underway. Sherry takes it out of the ruck with McAndrew flying early. Quick kick forward. Wardlaw off the ricochet. Zigs and zags through traffic. Hard pass to the top of the goal square, but Larkey loses his feet. They're not with the intercept.
They're not helping Larkey at the moment, are they, with their delivery? That was a poor kick again inside 50.
Butts places it well to Curtin, left half back. So good signs for the Crows. Even though they had the slow start, they've snapped that 8-game streak of losing first terms. 2-8 for the year now. Curtin went short inboard to Michael Laddie. Doesn't really know what to do here. North is kind of zoned towards the centre square. He'll send it to the benches. Big fly from McDonald, who floated across from the side with a fist, but didn't make enough connection. Knocked down towards Taylor, who was running by. Kicks to the 50 to Fogarty. Marks on the paint, immediately points for home. But Sid spotted an option, so he turns on a dime, was trying to kick it to McAndrew, who had led all the way into the pocket and wheeled around. But Saligo just drops in front, says thank you very much, and takes the mark, 40 from home.
Well, the interesting thing as well is Cherry's now on the mark. He'd normally be in the goal square, so they don't have any tall timber in case this ball falls short from the Saligo kick.
Goal square is empty at the moment.
Yeah.
Griffin Logue was giving the umpire a bit of advice. He kicked it from the 50 line, and saying that's not quite as far as it could have been to be awarded a mark.
It was close. We've had a few of them this afternoon. Jake Saligo's already got one. Looking for a long-range kick here. Pretty good. It's right over the goal umpire's hat. Jake Saligo doubles up. And Guana with a 10-point lead to start the second term. Adelaide 5-2-32. North Melbourne 3-4-22. Rod Jameson, Josh Franco, your experts on ABC Sport.
Jamo, you talk about important moments in the game, and you called it superbly. I think Aaron was the McDonald non-spoil, where he had to get better contact, and he came third man in, just skimmed off his hand. The ball still stayed in the play, and I think it was Taylor that picked it up and connected inside forward 50. You talk about those critical moments. That was one right there for North Melbourne.
He's had a few quiet games this season, Jake Saligo. Started on the bench today, but he's only had the 3 touches, but 2 goals.
He didn't have a quiet one against North Adelaide a few weeks ago. He had about 40 touches, I think, in the sandful.
Well, that was what you call a response.
That was.
Not nice for you, though, no. Josh. Back in the middle of the ground, and Finn O'Sullivan roves, steps left, steps right, then goes up towards centre-half forward. But Wayne Miller read it best at centre-half back, kicks wide to Cook, had too much on it. Simpkin gathers, handballs inside to Curtis, runs to 40 from the left-hand pocket. Away to the left-hand side. There's a few issues like this in the first term for the Crows, getting out of defensive 50. But Curtis doesn't make them pay. They're 3-5-23. Adelaide 5-2-32.
Worrell kicks to a one-on-one, and Curtin, too strong, too good. Knocks over Spargo, takes the mark, chips it across to Dawson. Well-guided kick to Taylor, who loops the handball back to his skipper, and he surges away from Luke Parker. Jordan Dawson in a panic. 2 bounces. Dawson from 50, heads for home. My goodness, he's flushed that. Turns to the front row and dunks it with his finger. Jordan Dawson with a superb highlight early. Adelaide up by 15 points. Guana 6-2-38. North 3-5-23. 3 minutes into the second term. It's Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Well, I think Finn O'Sullivan should book a little 5-minute chat with Alistair Clarkson post-game and look at the tape. During that contest, he ran there and Dawson kept his feet. Finn O'Sullivan lost his. The handball came over the top and just composure.
Well, the other thing as well is someone had to come at Dawson to put some frontal pressure on him. They kept folding back. I think it was Saligo would have been the next play, and I'd rather Saligo kicking the shot than Dawson on the run from 50 as he did on that occasion, because he's normally a dead eye in front of goal.
Loves that flank at Adelaide Oval, just Jordan Dawson.
This, after the siren.
Yep. So a free kick in the ruck contest goes the way of Sherry from centre bounce.
Just a different side in the first 5 or 6 minutes of this second quarter, Adelaide.
Sherry inside the forward 50, fisted down to the front. Costanti tried to earn a free kick through that tackle. His handball finds Berry for the Crows. At centre-half back, the kick comes out into the centre square. Saligo takes on the tackle of McDonald. Got a handball away in time to Michaelani. Crows working their way backwards to go forwards. Cook back to ball ace at right half back, and the switch can go on to Worrell.
Just sense Adelaide is starting to flex their muscles here. Dangerous period for the Roos.
Yeah, they've kicked the last 3 goals.
Worrell the 1-2 with Laird. He's set upon by a couple. Hollywood handball over his back just to get it back to Laird. Paul Curtis steamrolls in seeing red. Tries to bowl over Laird. He gets it back to Butts and now Miller. So the Roos are fighting, and eventually they do force the turnover. The kicking board no good. O'Sullivan gets in front. Couldn't control it. Hits the deck. Hard tackle laid on Curtis by Michaelani. Ball up to come, but North Melbourne certainly don't want to let this slip.
That's one thing you don't see often. 2 clangers from Miller with his last two kicks.
23-8 disposals in favour of Adelaide. Only 6 players from the Kangaroos have touched the footy this quarter.
McAndrew down to Dawson, fumbled, swatted forward by Wardlaw, and sliding in front to gather is Constanti. It's quickly tackled. We'll get a ball up just outside the 50 for the Roos. Right-hand side of your radio dial. Currently trailing by 15. Tossed up, tapped down. Sherry tries to do the crumb work, collapses into the footy as McAndrew wraps him up. We'll try one more time with umpire Craig Fleer. See if Tom Wilson can get the job done on the 3rd charm.
Sherry just takes it out of the ruck, kicks it forward. Get out all the way out in the full. It does. In the right forward pocket for North Melbourne. Just too much on it on Trembath. Flash shot up there of Alistair Clarkson, who's looking very frustrated. And Worrell brings it back down the line to Curtin. Good, strong grab. Handballs to Berry. Got some run here, Adelaide. Hits the target of Taylor in the middle of the ground.
How big and strong he looks, Tom.
Over the top to the skipper, Jordan Dawson. 75 from goal. Handballs to Alex Neil-Bullen with a nibbling kick to Toby Murray. Fisted away. Gathered by Keys. Back to Murray. The Toby variety. Handballs away. Looks like it was Cook out there. Gets it to Dawson. He didn't see the tackle coming and he's met from behind. Holding the ball. Wrapped up by Jack Darling. And they'll get the free kick at left half back.
That is outstanding from Jack. I mean, he's up a forward line player. He's big and strong, and he's worked his way down into defence, and it's a goal-saving tackle.
329th game for the 33-year-old, and gee, he moved good there. That was just a steamroll. His kick's not the best, though, up to the eastern side. Pat converged. It's across on the ground. Fogarty gets it out to Cook, kept it in. Pedler backtracking. Stutter step on Davies Uniacke. Tumbles a worm burner. Neil-Bullen clean, knocked it up towards Michael Annie. Here come Adelaide. Cook, right half forward, across the body, squeezes the kick towards Toby Murray, caught behind, had to throw a fist in. Boundary throw in to come near the scoreboard. Goona up by 15 points, inside forward 50 as well.
Aaron, just to highlight the dominance of Adelaide this quarter, 39 to 10 disposals. Kangaroos have only had 7 kicks, but they're running at 14% kicking efficiency, so poor start for the Roos in this second term.
Boundary throw-in, knocked towards Rankin. Snapshot. Oh,
he's looking threatening, that bloke, isn't
he? So threatening. There's a couple of goals he's probably left on the table too in his own pocket. Miners score 6-3-39, North 3-5-23.
Uh-oh.
Parker's kick trying to go to centre-half back, but missed his target. Worrell coming the other way. 1-2 is Saligo. Josh Worrell has a crack across the body, too shallow. Dawson, smart, had 3 to beat. Tapped it straight down to Keys, who releases Toby Murray. And Minnie Muzz with a little check side 5 out. Gets the job done. Adelaide up by 22 points. And Goona have kicked 6 of the last 7 goals. Incredible run. 8 minutes into the second term. 7-3-45 plays 3-5-23. North Melbourne now looking a little bit wobbly. Rod Jameson, Josh Francou on ABC Sport.
They do. They're probably more than wobbly. They look a little bit rattled at the moment. They're not using the football anywhere near, as you highlighted, Josh, too, when they've got it. They're turning the footy over deep in their defensive half, and it's just going straight back in. I had a little giggle when you said Jack Darling in his 329th game. Then you go to next week with Scott Pendleby's playing 433. That's another 5 seasons almost to get there, isn't it? It's incredible to think that he's still running around.
A remarkable feat. Sherry back in the middle of the ground, rove by Rankin. His handball was looking for Peatling.
I think to your point as well, they look like they're constantly scrambling at the moment, the Kangaroos, in offence and defence. They can't get any flow, can't defend Adelaide's ball movement. As you said, they look rattled.
Can't get a clearance either here. Third ball up in a row. Sherry knocks it down towards Sheasel. Quick kick forward.
How good.
That was clean from Cumming. Got it to Millerer, who goes to Michael Annie. Took on the tackle. He shook 2 of them off. Goes inside the forward 50 and hits the chest of Pedler, who'll have a shot 50 out directly in front.
Well, you can't miss tackles in this game, can you? Particularly in the contested phase of the game. If you're missing tackles, particularly with good ball users like Michael Annie, unpressured kick inside 50. Good luck defending that.
It was Curtis and Sheasel too that he actually got away both, and just his composure also once again to lower the eyes.
Luke Pedler has got a thumping leg on him, and we know he'll get the journey. He smashed that, but away to the left. Minus score, so 7-4-45, or 46 I should say, North 3-5-23. They've doubled their score 10 minutes into the second term.
Daniel short pass to Zerha, right back pocket, good desperate dive as Neil-Bullen gets across with the smother, knocks it over the boundary line, 15 out.
I was going to say, it's almost worth the Kangaroos start to defending with ball in hand. They've only had 13 disposals in this second quarter. Adelaide have had 51. Instead of kicking to a contest, try to maintain possession and take away Adelaide's ability to get hold of the footy.
They sent one player down to the contest now, which leaves Peatling loose across the halfback.
Tossed in McAndrew, Hollywood handball overhead to Peatling, who is collared. Zerha got him, brought him to ground, 20 out. And
he's in 2 places at once.
He will get the free kick.
Ball lays loose behind the footy.
He was a little hesitant there. I wasn't sure where the umpire was going to go, but James Peatling to get it.
Just some of the numbers while we wait for Peatling to have the shot on goal. Tackle count 10-3, contested ball 17-9, 36-3 uncontested possessions.
That's a crazy number, isn't it, too?
Yeah, that's obviously all in Adelaide's favour. And the marks at the moment is 17-0. So North Melbourne haven't taken a mark this quarter. Mind you, they've only had 10 kicks.
In comes James Peatling. Kicks from 35, gets right under it and through the big sticks. Adelaide has 8 of the last 9. 2 to James Peatling, leads by now to 29 points. Deja vu for the Roos, who leaked 5 unanswered against the Swans last week, either side of quarter time. And again are now on the back foot. Goona 8-4-52, North 3-5-23. Saturday footy on ABC Sport with Rod Jameson and Josh Francou.
Well, I hope someone recorded Matty Nix's quarter-time speech and just write it on the wall. And, well, whatever he said has resonated tremendously. Just they've jumped way out of the blocks here. 6 shots on goal, and as everyone has highlighted, have absolutely obliterated the Kangaroos in this second quarter.
They have, and all the red flags are flashing at the moment for North Melbourne. I just watched Larky. He went to the defenders to speak to them. He spoke to the mid, so he senses the urgency in this stage of the game and how this game's unfolding currently. They're not in the contest.
Murray v Dawson of the North variety. Crows the variety, gets the handball out towards Murray. They're going forward again. Another inside 50 up towards Fogarty. He just read it best and takes a strong grab. 35 out in a 45-degree angle, right of goal.
Well, once again, we see the advantage of winning the centre bounce clearance, and if you can get it deep and quick inside your forward 50, it puts the Oppo defenders under immense pressure. And Fogarty, good to have him back in the side. Missed, was it 4 weeks? Is that what we said? The last 4 games. So to have him back with the absence of Thilthorpe and Walker, great to have his presence ahead of the ball for the Crows.
Really smart by Zach Taylor too, then just to hold Griffin Logue out of the contest.
Yeah, last 4 games, but last 6 games in the AFL, yeah. So he's played a bit of sandful. So Fogarty going for his second goal. Drop punt, straight through the hey little diddle. The margin's big though, 9-4-58 with his second goal. 9 of the last 10. They've kicked the last 6. North Melbourne 3-5-23, 14 gone second term.
Tom, I'm putting my hat on, if I'm the coach's hat on, if I'm Alistair Clarkson. He would be absolutely seething up in the coach's box for what he's saying. From how they started this game and they're in the contest, dominating field position, to what we see now, it's a totally different side there. They're scrambling in defence. They can't get any pressure on the ball. They're losing clearances. They're losing field position. And at the moment, sorry to say, they look like a bit of a rabble at the moment. They're all at sea.
Again, just highlighting, like we said earlier, the umpiring is like under 9s. It actually respectfully, like they're playing like that right at the moment, aren't they? Yep. It's an appalling brand of football. When they've been spoken about, it's time for them to step up.
So Goona by 35. Crows in front. Dawson in the middle. That's Will for the Roos. Knocks it down, looking for Davies Uniacke. Quickly tackled by Peatling.
Well, that's a small win for the Kangaroos. Just getting a repeat stoppage, albeit a very small one.
Toby Murray wins it this time to Berry. Tries to barge through Davies Uniacke. Will Dawson with the assist as well. Jordan comes in for the Crows. He can't gather. Berry picks it up again. Hands it to Neil Bull and bangs it on the boot. Jam the kick forward. Pedler's brought down before it reached him. No free kick. Head over the footy. Parker rode the contact but gave it away. Taylor to Rochelle. Beautiful spin off the contact. Bounces free and curls through. And majestic goal. Gee, right out of the back pocket from Josh Rochelle. He spun through with ease and finishes with class. Adelaide up by 41 points, 10 of the last 11. It is becoming a procession. Goona 10-4-64 to the Roos, 3-5-23. Saturday footy on ABC Sport, and it's almost a little deflating, Rod Jameson and Josh Francou. Thought we might see more from the Roos, but really their season so far, they've beaten Port, Essendon, Carlton and Richmond. Close losses to West Coast, Giants, Sydney and Brisbane, and maybe they're just not ready to beat some of the bigger teams.
Maybe they're not, but they need to make a change in the middle of the ground. I look at Luke Parker, who's had a terrific year at half-back. Is it time? And I know he doesn't have the leg speed, but he's a seasoned campaigner in the midfield. Do they get him inside so they can get at least first look and get their hands on the footy? Because at the moment they can't.
Wardlaw taps it up to Sheasel. Could have been a throw. There's a clearance for you, Josh Francou, up the ground, but it lands in the lap of Rory Laird.
9 minutes of actual game time played. They've had 16 disposals. That's unheard of.
62-16. That's remarkable. Look what Adelaide's midfield can do when they win it. They send it forward up towards Murray, roved by Simpion. Handball to Comben to Parker. They're working their way backwards to Load. Caleb Daniel runs around on his right foot, kicks up towards the wing, but Berry too strong.
Yeah, he had to go there, Sheasel. Needed to commit to the aerial contest and bring that ball to ground.
Sam Berry stabs it, a little bit short and dicey to Neil Bullen. He got low, couldn't take it. Sheasel rips the footy out from him, but just after the whistle was blown. So ball up to come, just behind left half forward. Currently for the Crows, tap down, Neil Bullen breaks out of the stoppage, kicks it in, bounced in the hole, Comben didn't read it well, put one over the shoulder of Fogarty, no free kick. The fog does gather though, gives it to Nankervis, the laid in with the check side. And Adelaide are spreading their wings now. The Crows are soaring at the Adelaide Oval. Margins out to 47. Goona 11,470, North 3,523. They've kicked 7 unanswered in this second term, the Adelaide Crows. And North Melbourne looks dead set and buried before halftime.
I'm actually finding this hard to believe this is actually happening. I've got to say, I came here thinking they will really take it to Adelaide, and I've watched them earlier in the year, round 5 up against Brisbane, up in the Barossa, and just kept an eye on them around each round. And the competitiveness is just absolutely missing.
Yeah, and it's almost to the point in the game, they almost need to get Larky behind the ball to somehow get him involved in this contest. He's getting star forward. The ball's not coming inside their forward 50, but how can they get him involved? But starts in the middle.
Cherry's on the bench. He's been on there for about 5 minutes.
So we'll get a repeat stoppage.
Grimbath, bench. Luke Davies-Uniacke on the bench. Zerha.
Put a +1 behind the ball now. Luke Parker's the extra.
We'll have another ball up. Third one.
McKirch has gone to Pedler ahead of the ball, which has freed up Luke Parker to be the +1.
So Rankin roves that one, gets it to Berry, kicks up forward, looking for Neil Bullen and Pedler. Neil Bullen just taps it to himself and gets it out over the boundary line. We'll have a throw in at left half forward for the Crows.
And I know coaches don't like doing it, because if you look ahead of the ball for the Kangaroos, Adelaide will have a +1, and then it's really difficult to score, but they've got to somehow stem the flow of Adelaide's scoring power and capacity.
Showed Taylor Walker watching on in the stands. He's pushing to play after just missing the 1 week with the hamstring, and they've rightfully rested. They haven't needed him today. They're up by 47 points. Harry Sheasel tried to win a free kick, but he gives one away in the end to Peatling. Short over the top to Rankin at left half forward, about 65 from goal.
I saw Clarkson on the bench as well. Made his way down there? Or did he start down there?
I think he made his way down.
So Fogarty had a clear flight, that at the top of the goal square, couldn't complete the mark. Nankervis was clean. Out towards Alex Neil Bullen. Handball to the pocket to Saligo. Sweeping one to Rochelle. All the way back to Cook. Laird, 55 from goal. Too much on that for Nankervis. Turnover to Wardlaw.
The Roos need a counter punch, but there's no one in the forward half. They've just tried to share it in the centre square, and they missed the target. Davies-Uniacke couldn't get it to Larky. Turnover. Peatling out wide to Worrell. Adelaide get another crack. Back inside 50. Toby Murray, front spot, clunks a contested grab.
Could I just say, Aaron, that ball movement from the Kangaroos, Adelaide have now got a +1 behind the ball, so don't go quick. Somehow have a bit of composure with ball in hand, find a mark, allow your players to reset and try to defend with the ball. And again, we talk about it. We are nearly 12 minutes of actual game time in this second quarter. North Melbourne haven't had a mark, and they've had 23 disposals.
The metres gain differential is 700, and I'm going to say the differential between all those metrics would have to be almost the worst I've seen from an opposition team in this quarter.
Toby Murray starts it right off his kick from 40. It doesn't come back. Minor score. The winner up by 48. Adelaide 11, 571. North Melbourne 3-5-23. One-sided affair in this second term.
McDonald kicks down the wing, trying to get something going. Darling couldn't complete the mark. Roved by Sam Berry. Handballs to Laird, who's wrapped up by 2 Roos. He was stripped of it by Wardlaw. He took on the tackle of Cumming. Play on, says the umpire. Mike Lanny handball through the hands of Rankin. Waiting for it there was Worrell. Head over the footy. Berry to Miller to Rankin. They're working hard here, the Crows, and it's a clean kick to Peatling. runs forward through the middle of the ground, sweeping handball to Berry, handballs it to McAndrew. You can't handball it to the ruckman. Goes the 1-2, holding the ball. That was a quick call, harsh call, I thought. And Finn O'Sullivan's going to get the free kick. Goes short to Daniel. Now, Clarkson was up in the box before, Josh, so he has come down to the bench. Up towards Larkey, a poor kick to him. Gathers on the half volley, gathers on the ground. Handballs towards McKercher, who runs over the top of it. Ball in dispute, Murray. Now McKercher goes again on the wing. Goes short, looking for Dersma. Couldn't complete the mark. Fist away by Worrell, and he'll be tackled out over the boundary line. We'll have a throw-in right half forward for the Roos. They trail by 48 points.
Another stat for you, which is staggering. They've had 8 players that actually haven't touched the footy this quarter.
Running to the boundary line, and all you can see is Alistair Clarkson right in front of you.
7 goals, 3 to 1 point in the second quarter. Adelaide steamrolling the Roos. Tossed in, tapped down. Wardlaw first to it. Tackled by Barry, who dropped it. And he did the same to Sheasel, who did the same. Comes out. Adelaide. Rankin to Jordan Dawson. He's brought down. Turnover. Caleb Daniel bangs it in. And a holding free kick going Jack Darling's way. Josh Worrell right behind him, engulfed him. And the Premiership Eagle gets a set shot. Slightly to the right. 30 out.
Thought Jordan Dawson was a little bit unlucky down here. Tristan Cherry just tackled him and held on to him, swung him out over the boundary line. Held on for him a long time. The football went forward into the forward 50 for the Kangas.
Jack Darling just needs a reset for the Roos. Darling with a stutter step, crosses the paint of 50, never a chance. Kicked it hard left, minus score. Gooners lead back to 47 points, and they'll quickly play on with Wayne Miller moving it out to right half back. The Crows now have it through Laird. We've played 23 minutes in the second term on ABC Sport.
Ball ace, defensive side of centre wing, plays on quickly. Up looking target, looking for Pedler, but Zerha for the Roos takes an important intercept mark. Short ball inside. He's missed the target, not even close. Putting his head over the footy with Stevens, but Saligo wins out. Back to Cumming. His kick towards Pedler works. Dribbles into his lap. 75 metres from goal on that trusty left boot. Looking for McAndrew, who worked forward off Sherry, and he's going to make him pay.
Tom, I was looking at Zerha with ball in hand. I don't even know who he was kicking to. There was a North Melbourne player in the 45, but the kick missed him by 10 metres. And at this level, you can't afford. We've seen it a couple of times. Ball Ace has missed a couple early in that first quarter. You miss targets like that, sides like Adelaide who are running hot will make you pay, and they, once again, will on this occasion. It's just not happening for the Kangaroos at the moment, but Adelaide have been impressive.
It's the senior player too in Zerha. We saw how they got around Lockie McAndrew last week when he kicked his first AFL goal. Now he's got his second. The Crows, that's 12 of the last 13 goals and 9 in a row. 12-5-77 North Melbourne, 3-6-24, 24 and a half gone second term for ABC Sport.
And they're throwing it around too. They've got 9 goal scorers in this first half. Multiples to Jake Saligo and James Peatling and Darcy Fogarty too. So the options are presenting himself, and the Kangaroos are absolutely rattled.
And I'm a big believer in games are won and lost. Obviously biased here, Chamo, but games are won and lost in the midfield. If you win, you get the pats on the back, but when you're losing, you cop the bullets. And at the moment, North Melbourne midfielders, O'Sullivan 2 disposals. This is for the second quarter. Simpkin 2, Sheasel 2. Just not enough of them touching the footy and influencing this contest. And these are the sort of games where your brand can be damaged if they can't arrest some sort of flow here, North Melbourne.
Adelaide by 53. Sherry straight down the throat of Rankin, who releases Jordan Dawson. Pushed off his kick, but got enough on it as it tumbles to the 50. Overrunning it was Blamires. Fighting in was Fogarty to lay the tackle, as was Taylor. But ball up to come.
They've had 33 disposals this quarter.
Yeah.
33.
To 101.
Still 4.5 minutes remaining in this second quarter.
Wow.
Marks 26-3 as well. The stats are diabolical. McAndrew down. Sheasel quickly tackled. Another ball up left half forward.
And 20 kicks running at 25%. So they've only had 5 effective kicks for this quarter.
Uncontested, 64-13.
Adelaide's attacking half. Tap down Berry. Swings around from the stoppage, kicks across the body up towards the 50. Zerha with a fist, and Parker walks it over. On the text line, Neil and Coburg says this is the Barry Crocker I feared from North Melbourne. They've been good to date. They'll be better next week, but Adelaide fans can enjoy today. And the harsh part is, Neil, if you look overall in totality, I don't want to discredit what they've done this year. They have been better, but their win-loss record in the last few years is miserable. Sherry has absolutely dispatched McAndrew. Full judo throw as he flips him over the body, 30 out. Free kick to the big man in front of goal. That was a pretty poor decision from Tristan Sherry, albeit a very impressively strong one.
Yeah.
He was complaining as well.
It's almost UFC-like, isn't it? Like, absolutely no rules and just launched.
Can he get reported for a swing tackle there out of the ruck contest?
And he's actually shaking his head going, what did I do wrong?
So the Roos lose today. There'll be 20 wins and 105 losses since 2019. They came in with their best percentage since 2018 of 104, and it's about to be annihilated. How about this? Cross the body, stutter step from McAndrew. What on earth was that approach? It works! Don't change a good thing, Lockie. Back-to-back goals for the ruckman.
Richard Hadley.
And all of a sudden, it's Adelaide by 59. Goorna 13-5-83. North Melbourne 3-6-24. 27 played in the second term. Braden Ingram downstairs.
Well, McAndrew, earlier in his career, in his younger days, rugby was was his first choice sport. That was very much like Johnny Wilkinson taking a penalty kick the way he started it and kicked it. Didn't matter, it went through.
Well, I'm just thinking, if you're Alistair Clarkson, you might have to go back to your under 8 days, Jamo, and just flip the magnets. Put the backs to forwards and forwards to backs, because at the moment it ain't working, and try to get a different midfield mix in here for North Melbourne, because I know we're harping on North Melbourne, how bad they've been. Adelaide have been impressive, but they've been allowed to be impressive because of the lack of pressure around the footy.
9 goals to none this second term. Rankin tries to get the clearance. Davies Uniacke back in there, but handballed it straight to Peatling. Out wide to Cook. Members side of the ground. Only working on the other wing is Cook. Goes short to Worrell.
Loving the SMSs coming through, but also I've got family in Canada listening, and I've got a wife's work colleague. It's his first time here at this game, and he's just stoked with the atmosphere and the celebration of what is Sir Doug Nichols round.
So Saligo centre wing, short to Laird.
What Adelaide are doing now is what the Kangaroos should have been doing. Try to maintain possession of the ball and make Adelaide defend.
So Peatling on the logo for Sir Doug Nichols round. Goes to Alex Neil-Bullen. So they're just creeping their way forward.
This is actually embarrassing. Sorry, Tom. It's hard to watch. Hard to watch. Yeah.
Yep. So Dawson marks 70 metres out. Just controlling the footy, the Crows. And he waits for Fogarty on the lead and hits him on the chest. Was it touched? North players thought it was, and they're complaining to the umpire, but the mark's been paid.
If it wasn't touched, it should be 50.
Correct.
Yeah.
You can't actually, it doesn't matter if you were wrong as the player.
Correct.
The player on the ran over the mark and laid the tackle, but in the end, Fogarty will have a set shot from 50 out, 45-degree angle, left half forward.
I reckon Taylor Walker's the best set shot for goal in the AFL. This bloke's second best, and we've got the best vantage point here to watch, right behind Fogarty, 50 out.
A little bit of left to right.
Yep.
So we're right behind it. Darcy Fogarty in his return. He's hit it beautifully. It's just drifted at the last moment. Minus score away to the right. It would have been a perfect 10 for the Crows, but that's the margin. 10 goals if you've just joined us. 13-6-84, North Melbourne 3-6-24.
Oh, now. Sorry.
Exiting our defensive 50. Kicks had to be well placed. They were to McDonald. Up to the eastern side off hand. Stevens spun to the ground. Good tackle from Saligo. Ball up to come.
It's North Melbourne, not North Adelaide, Josh.
Well, yeah.
He's
but
passionate.
Even Daniels want to get the ball live again, maintain possession and slow the game down and milk some time off the clock. When it's live, they're getting slaughtered.
Speaking of milking, Tristan Sherry didn't go for the ruck tap and just waited for the ball to land and collapsed in the contact of McAndrew, who gets the free kick. And do want to give him a shout out, albeit the Roos are down. He's had 5 clearances. He's leading the league for 9 per game, Tristan Sherry. He's averaging 22 touches. He's doing pretty good. He's the Lone Ranger this afternoon. Switch was on, out to the broadcast side. Kick was terrible. A tumbler in the direction of Parker coming from Comben, and he's just mauled for his troubles. Ball up to come near the benches. Gee, the Roos just cannot catch a break here.
Well, we've spoken about all the stats, but in this quarter, 66% to 16% time in possession Adelaide's way.
I wonder what the
monstering.
The record is for lowest number of possessions in a quarter.
Yeah, or a differential.
Or a differential, yeah. That'd have to be close to it.
73 at the moment.
Yeah.
So quickly tossed up, and Sherry just got there on the drop, fisted it towards the boundary line, and now it's going to be tossed in. Sherry and McAndrew, the North Ruck wins out. He tries to barge through Cook, eventually got a late handball out. Wardlaw missed his target. There's Crows everywhere. Tight traffic. North just can't get through. Constanti brought down.
Sorry, North Melbourne supporters, but 20-minute quarter, 40 disposals. That's 2 disposals every minute.
Tap down Rochelle, quick kick out. Rankin rather to Rochelle, who takes the mark against Myers. Rochelle kicks towards the scoreboard. Pedler's there. Fist comes in from Zerha. Fogarty wants to keep it in. Slapped it back into his shins, and it rolls over 45 out.
That's a staggering stat. We'll say that again.
It's 20 minutes and a quarter, 40 disposals, 2 disposals per minute.
That
is that right? Yeah.
That is just... That maths is spot on, Josh.
Well, he's a teacher.
Yeah.
Boundary throw in. Sherry fists it forward out of their defence. Cumming is happy for that to go out over the boundary line. Going to about 35 metres, though, from the throw-in. Did big Tristan Sherry. So just the 30 seconds left to get one more touch for the Roos. On average.
The last goal from the Kangaroos was in the first quarter at the 18-minute mark.
Just 2 shots on goal this term. Oh, Dawson just grabs it from the ruck contest, looks for Rochelle and hits him. That was class from the captain. And Rochelle will have a shot 40 out on a 45-degree angle away to the left.
After the siren. 15 seconds remaining. Use it all up and top it off with 10 goals for the second quarter. And go in at half-time, 11 goals up.
Just looking at the numbers as well, they've gone inside 50 16 times. You would have thought more, but every time they're going inside 50, they're scoring, Adelaide.
It's been a remarkable quarter for the Crows. They've held the Roos goalless. Rochelle kicked a beauty earlier in this term. He's going for a double on the half-time siren, and I give it a 10. The Crows give it 10 in the second quarter. A perfect 10, and they've blown the Roos right out of the water. Rochelle gets his second. Adelaide 14-6-90. North 3-6-24.
I'm on Alistair Clarkson watch. I haven't seen him yet. All the Kangaroos have got together at the half-back line and had a chat, and now working their way off. But I'm looking for the captain and the skipper and also the coach.
I think the coach is at the airport.
Jeez.
It
is a devastating blow to North Melbourne's season. For all the goodwill they have earned, it has been evaporated in a half of footy, particularly a quarter. 10 goals for to 2 behinds in the second term, and I'm pretty sure that is the second biggest margin in a second quarter for Adelaide in history. So gap of 62 points in that term. Their best was 85 against Fitzroy in 96. So they got close, but she was an absolute mauling. Goona 14-6-90. North 3-6-24. Goal scorers 2 to Rochelle, Saligo, Fogarty, McAndrew and Peatling. Singles to Dawson, Rankin, Nankervis and Toby Murray. And for the Roos, their 3 individual goal scorers, Wardlaw, Larkey and Curtis. The numbers are ugly viewing. Might leave it to Josh Francou and Rod Jameson to unpack them.
The coaches have just walked out of the Kangaroos, and now they're making their way across Adelaide Oval.
You know, when you talk about coaching and giving players a bit of a serve to try to invoke some sort of response, I reckon this is probably a time when that's going to happen. And you don't want to use up too many, but yeah, I must say I'm quite speechless. And I'll go through some of the numbers. Disposals now these are all obviously in the favour of Adelaide. Disposals 117-42.
This is just the second quarter.
Sorry,
isn't it?
yeah, it is, Jamo. Yep. So the tackle count. So Adelaide kicked 10 goals for. The tackle count that quarter was 30-13 Adelaide's way. Contestable 43-23. The uncontested possession 76-18. The marks. North Melbourne only had 5 marks for the quarter. The inside 50 16-6. The only numbers that I can see that they've won that quarter were the hitouts. It's absolutely staggering. And of those 42 disposals that they had in that second quarter, the Roos, they had 26 kicks running at 31%. So what's that, a third of their kicks? So they're 7 or 8 effective kicks in that quarter. So I've never actually seen numbers like it. You'd have to go to the record books and see what the lowest record or recorded possession total in a quarter is, but that would have to be giving it a nudge, I would imagine. 42 disposals. As we said, that's 2 disposals per minute of that second quarter, which is just unacceptable. And if you go through the numbers, like I said, Simpkin, some of the other numbers, O'Sullivan, Sheasel, 3 disposals and 2 disposals. It's just not AFL standard.
So if you are a coach, what are you going to say to your group right now?
Oh.
Is it almost, would you contemplate even not saying anything, just in the short term, probably get your leaders in, have a chat to them, and maybe even let them address the group?
Yep.
Would be...
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad shout. And look, and I don't know, obviously, what Clark was, in terms of the way he addresses his players, but tell you what, from a coach's point of view, it'd be hard not to just go bananas at him.
Well, that's what I'm sort of alluding to, because I think you could actually lose your cool here and say some stuff that you actually don't want to.
Yep.
That's sort of, that's how I would probably, because everything you've just highlighted, that is an absolute abysmal second quarter by any standard of football.
Maybe just puts the stats up there.
You know what this reminds me of? And most people would have heard it. You know the coach, the AFL rant? Yeah. How about you get a hard ball?
That's right.
Got 63 disposals, was it?
Yeah, you brought the oranges.
Yeah,
I got the snakes.
You can put them somewhere where you want to put them.
Don't even open it.
There, that's right. That's the sort of rant I think that Alistair Clarkson could probably well and truly give. But I would probably give it back to the players just to throw it back on them, because this is not a coaching issue, that quarter.
No. And Aaron,
is not.
You mentioned it, that they've done so much to start to develop their brand positively, and within the space of, you say a quarter and a half of a half, 1.5 quarters, that they've really damaged their brand, and it's hard to come back from that.
Yeah, to have the first 6 scoring shots and then you concede, was it 14 of the last 15 goals?
Yeah.
And you look at some of these guys, in terms of active players who are in the worst win-loss record currently, there are 9 North Melbourne players. And you've got guys like Paul Curtis, who's on a 17% win rate. He's had 15 wins and what will be 73 losses after today. Harry Sheasel, 20%, Sherry, 21, Larky, 22. So these guys don't know how to win.
Yeah.
And, for all the good signs we've seen through the year, just revert back to the old ways on the road at a ground that, yes, has haunted you for many years. They're 0-13 here at the Adelaide Oval, but at least put up a fight.
Well, that's the thing I was just about to say. You can sort of talk about sides don't understand how to win, but there's still an element you have to be able to compete, and they've even lost that from what we've seen particularly in that second quarter. They just didn't compete. It's a staggering statistic, statistically in that second quarter.
1,660 for Adelaide and 726 for the Kangaroos. Even their tackling, just stand by someone and make it hard for your opposition to do it. 30 tackles to 14 in favour of Adelaide in that quarter.
Yeah, and that's staggering in itself, considered they had the ball most of the time.
And I know, we often at times on the text line, people say, it's so parochial because we obviously rise with the crowd that's usually one-sided here in Adelaide. But all of us arrived today expecting a very good performance from North, if not a few of us tipped them. And it's actually quite deflating to see them play like this, because as I kind of said in the pre-game, Nick Riewoldt said the rebuild's over. We thought we were out of the woods. And it's one performance. There's still a lot of the season to play out, and I'm sure they'll bounce back. But you see something like this and you go, gee, maybe they aren't that ready for that next step.
I think there's always an anomaly. I think most clubs will have a blowout in a game, but not as significant in this quarter.
Good point.
And I know we're absolutely privileged to sit here and watch this sort of stuff, Tom, but if I'm a Kangaroo supporter, I'm turning the radio off.
Well, remember when Port beat the Swans by 112 points a couple of years ago, the year they were minor premiers? 2024. So that was you're talking about an anomaly.
Yeah.
That's just what it reminded me of. And you sort of sit there and go, wow, how could a team who finishes as minor premiers lose by 112 points to anyone? On the flip side of this with the Crows, look what happens and they've still got Riley, Phil Thorpe and Taylor Walker out. Look what happens when they get on top in the midfield, how damaging they can be with Frank and Rochelle. I mean, Toby Murray's bobbed up. Fogarty's back in for his first game since round 3. Whatever Matthew Nick said at quarter time, as you mentioned, Jamo, bottle that and use that again. But look how they can move the ball. And it's the first time we've really seen it this season.
Dawson will never be spending an entire quarter outside of the midfield again.
He can't.
He can definitely float forward and play at half-back at times, but you cannot have him for a half a footy knock in the middle, because when he's there, they are a much better side. And it is nice to see, we've mentioned it a lot in the pre-game, just how the Crows had players in different roles and it didn't look like they were quite set in terms of their chemistry. But this afternoon, everybody's playing where they should be, and it's working to an absolute T. And as Tom said, there's a couple of injuries to come back. And maybe this is where the season starts to open up for the Crows. They've got a tough run ahead, but injuries come back and you do a little bit of a Brisbane 2024 and you set yourself up at a good spot in the middle of the season and really start to hit your stride as the kind of campaign comes to its end.
Just looking at the stoppages and the data there. So Tristan Cherry is actually getting his hand to the footy. He's 9 hit-outs and also he's second in that quarter for clearances too. And first possession, he's sitting second. You're looking at the stats and the stoppages as to where the goals are coming from. So ball-ups, Adelaide 1. Throw-ins, Adelaide 3. Ball-ups and throw-ins, so there's the 4. That's the double-up on that particular area. But all stoppages, 5-2. It's just coming from everywhere. There is no point on the ground or anywhere where the Kangaroos have said, I've won a spot. And then everything was spoken about around the data, it just sort of reinforces that too.
Just another quick one on that as well. So the Roos entering this game were third in the competition for score from stoppages.
I might turn my microphone off. I've had enough of this first half.
Third for score from stoppages, the Roos, and this afternoon have leaked 7 unanswered goals from stoppage. So it's just not how they've been playing.
No, and the thing I'm even probably more disappointed with is they didn't change the way they wanted to play. So even when they got one of their 5 marks, they still wanted to keep the ball live and go quick. It would have probably been or made more sense to slow the game down a bit, maintain possession, try to defend with ball in hand, which they didn't execute at all.
Huge thanks to the weather gods, because the absolute storm front that was coming through has kind of gone through Waikerie and missed Adelaide. So if we had to do an hour of a lightning delay on this game, I think I would have walked away, Jamo, and had to figure something out.
You'd be with Clarko?
Yeah. 0437 774 774 if you want to get in touch as well. It'll be a long second half if it continues this way, so please reach out. Wayne from Mildura says, a couple of seasons ago, the Swans got obliterated by Port Adelaide when they were the competition leaders. Port kicked the first 12 goals of the game, and this sounds very similar, so maybe Wayne's a little bit more optimistic that this is a blip for the Roos, who are currently down by 66 at the major break. Still to come, we've got the D's and the Hawks, so Nam and Hawthorn coming your way at the G from 4:10 Eastern. Carlton and the Western Bulldogs tonight at Docklands at 7:20. I will give you all the news of what's happened so far this morning. I'll read a couple more of your texts in a moment. It's great to have you with us on ABC Radio, Sport Digital and ABC Listen. We're going to take a quick break, come back for hopefully a closer affair in the second half for Saturday footy on ABC Sport. It is Goona by 66. Time to get the latest from the ABC newsroom.
ABC News, hello, I'm Satyam Weinstein. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says no decision has been made on whether to extend the halving of the fuel excise. The measure was introduced to curb soaring fuel prices in the wake of the US-Israeli war on Iran. The Australian Institute of Petroleum says prices have since been trending downwards. Mr Albanese says Australia now has more fuel on hand than it did before the war.
We'll continue to work around the clock to make a difference at what is a difficult time around the globe. Around the globe, in many of our neighbours, what we see is compulsory public holidays every week because of fuel shortages which are there.
A man in his 30s is in a critical condition after he was attacked by a shark off Rottnest Island in WA. Police say emergency services were advised of a possible shark attack at Geordie Bay. The man was taken back to shore by boat, where he's been treated by paramedics. The RAC rescue helicopter has landed on the island. The Department of Primary Industries and Regional Development is urging people to take additional caution in the area. US President Donald Trump says US and Nigerian armed forces have eliminated the global second-in-command of the Islamic State group. In a post on Truth Social, he called Abu Bilal al-Miniku the most active terrorist in the world who thought he could hide in Africa. In a post to social media, Mr. Trump says US and Nigerian forces executed what he called a meticulously planned and very complex mission. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump has cautioned Taiwan against declaring independence from China. The warning follows a two-day summit in Beijing between Mr. Trump and his Chinese counterpart, Xi Jinping. But speaking to America's Fox News, he says the US position on Taiwan hasn't changed.
No, nothing's changed. I will say this. I'm not looking to have somebody go independent and, we're supposed to travel 9,500 miles to fight a war. I'm not looking for that. I want them to cool down. I want China to cool down.
The Democratic governor of the U.S. state of Colorado has commuted the sentence of a local county clerk convicted of tampering with the 2020 presidential elections. 70-year-old election conspiracy theorist Tina Peters was sentenced to 9 years in prison for allowing an unauthorized person to access voting equipment and copy it. U.S. President Donald Trump has repeatedly pressured Colorado to free Ms. Peters. The union representing Adelaide's prison workers says a serious and escalating security failure at South Australia's Yatala Labour Prison is exposing correctional officers to extreme risk. Sophie Landau with more.
The Public Service Association says a car allegedly associated with a shooting at Manopara earlier this month was seen at the Yatala staff car park in the days prior. It says the people in the vehicle were wearing face coverings and that it's reasonable to believe they had a firearm. The SA Department for Correctional Services says immediate steps have been taken to strengthen security around the car park, but according to the PSA, the department has refused their requests for extending the perimeter fence and deploying 24-hour security officers.
A truck driver who fled the scene of a crash in Adelaide's southeastern freeway this morning has been taken to hospital for forensic blood testing. The SA police arrived at the scene at Glen Osmond around 3:30 this morning after reports a truck travelling towards the city collided with the median strip and several road signs before crossing to the wrong side of the road and rolling onto its side. It's alleged a 28-year-old man driving the truck ran away but was found by patrols in the morning. Police say the man was taken to hospital for assessment, where a sample of his blood has been taken for forensic analysis. Roads have reopened in the area. The World Health Organization is warning of the dangers of nicotine pouches to young people and adolescents. The WHO says the pouches create a risk of another generation of nicotine addicts. The head of the WHO's Tobacco-Free Initiative, Dr. Vivek Prasad, says the pouches are being aggressively marketed to young people.
These tactics include sleek and discreet packaging, candy-like flavors such as bubble gum and gummy bears, influencer marketing, social media campaigns, sponsorship of concerts and Formula One events, and aspirational lifestyle branding.
And in cricket, Australia's Mitch Marsh has claimed man of the match honours in the Lucknow Super Giants' 7-wicket win over the Chennai Super Kings in the Indian Premier League. Marsh opened the batting and powered his way to 90, smashing 7 sixes in a 38-ball innings. ABC News.
This is going to be quite a ride. Every dream restoration starts with something worth holding on to.
We were in love. We figured we'd work it out.
Restoration Australia.
This is magnificent.
Back May 21 on ABC TV and ABC iView.
On ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital, and on ABC Listen. This is Sir Doug Nichols Round with ABC Sport.
Dawson, well-guided kick to Taylor, who loops the handball back to his skipper, and he surges away from Luke Parker. Jordan Dawson in a panic. 2 bounces. Dawson from 50 heads for home. My goodness, he's flushed that. Turns to the front row and dunks it with his finger. Neil Bullen bangs it on the boot. Jam the kick forward. Panthers brought down before it reached him. No free kick. Head over the footy. Parker rode the contact but gave it away. Taylor to Rochelle. Beautiful spin off the contact. Bounces free and curls through. A majestic goal. Tap down. Neil Bullen breaks out of the stoppage. Kicks it in. Bounced in the hole. Condon didn't read it well. Put one over the shoulder of Fogarty. No free kick. The Fog does gather though. Gives it to Nankervis. The laid in with the check side. And Adelaide are spreading their wings now.
Dawson just grabs it from the ruck contest, looks for Rochelle and hits him. That was class from the captain. And Rochelle will have a shot 40 out on a 45-degree angle away to the left. He's going for a double on the halftime siren, and I give it a 10. The Crows give it 10 in the second quarter, a perfect 10, and they've blown the Roos right out of the water.
This is Sir Doug Nicholls Round on ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital, and on ABC Listen.
All one-way traffic in the second term here at the Adelaide Oval. The Adelaide Crows under Goona during Indigenous round are absolutely obliterating North Melbourne, who had the hot start, first 6 scoring shots. It all unravelled after that. The Crows have kicked 14 of the last 15 goals. They had 11 unanswered in that term, or 10 unanswered rather in that term, and end up with a plus 62 margin in the second quarter, which is the 10th highest in a second term in the history of the AFL VFL competition. It's Adelaide's second best ever. And gee, it was pretty ugly for North Melbourne. Aaron Bryans, Tom Wilson, Josh Francou, Rod Jameson with you for the call. The Crows up by 66 at the major break. There is some good footy coming your way. Melbourne and Hawthorn, Nam and the Hawks up next at the G, and then Carlton and the Western Bulldogs tonight at Docklands on ABC Sport. A couple of texts flying through as well. John in Preston says even Richmond did better than North have against the Crows. Mark in Glenroy says it's so disappointing to see North play like this just when we thought they were improving. They put a performance like this in with a quarter and a bit to go, and they've taken 3 steps back. This is a reality check once again. One listener says the growing gap between the two, the good and the bad sides, is too big. Wanted to mention Trev's text, who says, please call the Melbourne Football Club the Melbourne Football Club, not NAM. Trev, it's all about education and celebrating culture over these next couple of weeks, and it doesn't do any harm, doesn't take any time out of your day to learn NAM, to learn Goona, to learn Wailachimarua. A couple of new names, just, enjoy it. Learn something out of Sir Doug Nicholls' Indigenous round. And Mark in Glenroy says it's so disappointing to see the Roos play like this as well. So hopefully we get a better turn of events, because it has been one-sided. The Crows by 66, second half about to come your way. And Tom, the Roos ran out with 6 minutes to go in the halftime break. I think Nick Larkey was just trying to get his troops away from Alistair Clarkson.
Well, I had a friend who brought their lad down to the captain's run yesterday. He was the only one here. It was bucketing down with rain. Alistair Clarkson invited him out into the field. He met all the players. Best day of his life. He's in the stands right now and he's in tears, which I think all of the Roos fans are. But a 5-year-old lad would have done a better job in that first half. So get him out there again, I say.
He did that for me and a couple of my mates' children when they lost their father a number of years ago. So his heart is in the right spot. He does it a lot.
He does. Back in the middle of the ground, starting the second half, and the Crows win the first clearance. It was clean, and they find Toby Murray on the lead, who marks left half forward.
Charlie Comben, he's having a tough day, isn't he?
Yep. They have a 50 away that ended in a goal for Fogarty, and Murray.
Well, I think just on that as well, I mean, that's really hard to defend, isn't it? Like, no pressure on the ball, absolutely perfect kick inside 50. Murray led hard at the kicker. Really difficult to defend. It probably goes further up the ground from the centre bounce clearance, unable to win it again.
Dawson to Cook. Now Murray is going for his second. He launches from 55 metres out. They're building in the crowd, and just away to the left. Sherry was flying over the top trying to rush that through, but it missed anyway. They get a score in the opening minute of the second half. The Crows 14-7-91. North Melbourne 3-6-24.
67-point lead. Great to have you with us on ABC Sport. The text line 0437 774 774. Zerha with the long bomb. He's searching for Larkey just in front of the Williams stand. It's knocked away over the boundary line. The Zerha move to halfback has been pretty handy throughout the season so far, Jamo. Not sure if it's played a role this afternoon, but rebranded small forward.
Yeah, no, I like him too. Like he's a hard at it as well. I guess you've got to be instinctive, and you're at the mercy of what comes in, but I like the fact that he's got a great kick, and his run off the halfback's been good.
Sherry down, sharked by Peatling, kick smothered, goes again. Daniel dumps in, ball pops out. Davies Uniacke for the Roos, kicks across the body, and Curtis takes the mark. Just behind centre wing, tries to milk a 50.
Clarify that, maybe not as good today, but certainly up to this point.
Threads the needle between a few bodies and gets it up towards Sheasel. Marks just behind right half forward. Disposal 13 for the Shees. Heads towards the light tower, northern end. On the march is Larkey. Fist came in from Butts. Knocked out towards Keys. Adelaide regroup. Miller of the 1-2 with Jordan Dawson, who waits a while to bring it back to him. Wayne Miller, the man who designed the Indigenous Guernsey, kicks straight to Rochelle. He releases Worrell. Hot handball. It's a hospital style. Bang! Coming across was Parker. Gee, saw red and bulldozed his way out towards half forward and absolutely crunched Neil Bullen, who pops up really ginger.
They talk about where Sydney's improved the game, and that's that forward handball, but you've got to pick it and choose it at the right time as opposed to just setting your teammate up like that.
Simpkin gets it inside the forward 50. McKercher lays a strong tackle on Michaelani, and he'll get a shot on goal for it from 50 out.
I've seen a couple of anomalies today that I haven't seen before. So Ben Keys has had 8 disposals, 2 kicks, 6 handballs. Kicking efficiency, 0. And you go Charlie Comben, exactly the same. And further down is Jack Darling. He's had 2 kicks, 1 handball. Kicking efficiency, 0.
McKercher, normally a good user of the footy, runs around on his left, kicks for goal, a drop punt. It's going to drift away to the left. That's where he started it, and that's where it stayed. Minus score to the Roos. Still can't find that goal. The last one came in the first term at the 18-minute mark there, 3-7-25. Adelaide 14-7-91.
Wayne Miller kicks to the broadcast wing, cutting across Pedler, brought it to ground, front square, good handball out. As Peatling gets it to Pedler, he sidesteps his way through Simpkin, who didn't like it, tried to stick the shoulder in. Kick was good, though. Out towards the centre square. Jordan Dawson, pinpoint. Trace a bullet up to Keys, who gives it back to his skipper. Inside 50, waits the kick, and Braden Cook takes it in front of the Rashudo stand. Tight angle, 40 from home. Braden Ingram downstairs.
Yeah, Caleb Daniels really saw off the ball. He was hit by Rory Laird, very much behind the play. A trainer's gone out to him at the moment. He's still on his knees. At the moment, it looks like he's going to try and stay on the ground.
Anything untoward in your opinion, Braden?
It was hard to tell. It was certainly a fair way off the play. Might have been one of those stomach punches.
This is almost from where he kicked the footy 2 weeks ago.
Braden Cook, the showdown hero, on the right with a gorgeous finish. That is excellent from Braden Cook, who is really flourishing now for the Crows. Gooners up by 72 points, and it's the early stages of the third term. 15-7-97 to North Melbourne's 3-7-25. Adelaide up on ABC Sport. Rod Jameson, Josh Franco, your experts.
Well, Jamo, you talk about precise ball movement and being able to kick the ball under pressure. That kick from, I think it was Luke Pedler in front of us, where he was under pressure. He came back inside. It had to be perfect to hit the inside corridor 45 kick it was, and then Dawson did the rest. You mentioned that a couple of weeks ago. Cook kicked that match-winning goal against Port Adelaide, and that was equally as impressive. Clearly not the pressure on the kick, but to be able to kick it from that distance on that angle, superb.
I've gone for the pocket profile early.
Is the record?
Yes, best kick for goal with the game on the line. Wayne Miller says Darcy Fogarty, but Braden Cook is fast becoming
Davies Uniac handball to Wardlaw, and he just didn't see Isaac Rankin there, who's mowed him down from behind. Tried to play on quickly. Wardlaw got a hand in there. Dawson did too. Shoveled it towards Berry. Goes the 1-2 and then shrugs Wardlaw away. He's just strolling towards centre half forward. Handballs to Michaelani. Perfect pass to Keys, who marks. Left forward pocket, 25 metres out.
They just can't get any pressure on the ball. Once the ball was turned over, and it was outstanding there from Isaac Rankin, his ability to get out of that centre bounce scenario and pressure the ball carrier. But once the turnover comes, they just can't get pressure on the ball, the Kangaroos, and any wonder the skills at the moment are absolutely sensational, the Adelaide Footy Club.
So Ben Keys is going to run around on the right boot and snap it, and he kept it right. It's an odd sight to see. Minus score. 15-8-98. North Melbourne a 3-7-25. 6.5 gone in this third term. Quickly to Braden Ingram.
Caleb Daniel still sucking them in. He has come to the bench, so he's in a fair bit of discomfort still.
Ben Keys, 3 kicks, 0 kicking efficiency.
Parker, staring into the sun, just gives it everything he can to no one in particular. Pat converges, Berry's there, handball shoots out for the Crows. Saligo pulls the kick terrifically to Pedler, but just lost it late. Zerha came in hard with a push, and the free kick's going to go his way.
Sure, I thought Zerha did everything he had to do, and did in that contest too. Made it hard for Pedler. I reckon he's a little stiff to Get that free.
Back with the flight, stuck a fist in, didn't really commit the body, and yeah, he's been pinged.
He'd be a defender, Jamo.
I reckon you always, if you're running back towards the play, you're always vulnerable, aren't you?
Yes.
Pedler on the tight angle to really stick it into the ruse. Oh, he's hit the post on the right-hand side. It is Adelaide by 74 points. Now closing in on raising the bat. 7-minute mark of the third term on ABC Sport.
So Parker plays on from the kick in. Looking for a target and he misses. But the hand in there, importantly from Comben. He's able to knock it towards Dylan Stevens, but he slipped at the wrong time. It falls in the lap of Rochelle. Handballs it back to Berry. He goes inside the forward 50 looking for Keys. It's brought to ground, Fogarty to Saligo. To Keys on the left. He snaps them better on the left, does Ben Keys. And another one to the Crows. 16 of the last 17. And he's their 12th individual goal scorer. They're having a day out. The margin is now 80 points at Adelaide Oval. 16-9, 105. North 3-7-25, 8 minutes gone, third term.
Oh, it just highlights again North Melbourne's inability to use the footy under really no pressure. I think it was Luke Parker. The kick outside of their defensive 50 didn't hit the target, and then Kangaroos just can't win a one-on-one, and they can't slow Adelaide down when they get hold of the footy by sticking tackles. Too many broken tackles, and then said Ben Keys, a miraculous goal on his left foot snap.
It's just replicating the second quarter. We're only early stages of this third, and it's 34 disposals to 11. 24-4 uncontested marks, 6-2. So they're doing better in that area, Josh.
The Roos have been dominated all afternoon. Sherry down. McAndrew throws a boot at it. Comes towards Davies Uniacke for North Melbourne. Hospital handball to Parker. Neil Bullen just leaps into the air and engulfs him. Ball up to come centre square.
If this was played in the 90s, tomorrow morning's recovery would be putting a keg in the middle of the room and we're not going anywhere until it's finished.
Sheasel gets it out to Blamires. Just jammed it forward. Only found butts for the Crows. Gets it to Rankin. Guinan now on the march. Braden Cook with a sidestep on Stephen. Then backtracks and wheels his way around Sheasel. Just fancy footwork from the young man. Cook gets it back to Borlays, and now Wayne Miller has the footy. The Naranga Gunjit Mara man completes the switch out towards Cumming, and then Worrell in front of the benches. Short pass forward. Max Michaelani. Crows by 80 at the moment. Only 9 minutes into the third. Max Michaelani. Tight walk on the boundary line. Races forward, then kicks towards Nankervis. Fist came in the 50. Wardlaw's there. Gets the handball out to McDonald. Then Blamires for the Roos. Kircher tried to check the kick. Little short for Trembath. Haven't seen him at all today. Rochelle mops it up. Gets it to Berry. Hot handball. They're trying to get through. Jordan Dawson gives it away. Wardlaw out towards Spargo. He's brought down. Dropped the footy against Nankervis. No whistle. Adelaide win out anyway. Worrell to Zach Taylor. Full 360 looking for an option and finally gives it away. Handball to McKercher. North Melbourne get a crack. Colby McKercher towards the 50. Paul Curtis marks. Just inside the arc. Does he have the range? He's got a runner out wide. He waits, getting into the spot. The kick is well weighted, and Charlie Spargo has it. 15 out left forward pocket. Can North Melbourne finally get a goal?
I thought Miller was a bit lucky there not to concede a 50-metre penalty. Curtis marked the ball and then he stripped it, but nice little connect to find Spargo, as you said. But tell you what, talk about important kicks for goal.
Last kick to Major. In the 19-minute mark of the first, Charlie Spargo opens the angle and snaps truly from 20. North Melbourne with some sweet relief on a devastating afternoon. They finally get a major. They're fourth of the afternoon, but are down 74 points now. Guinan 16-9, 105. North Melbourne 4-7-31, 11 played. Third term. Braden Ingram downstairs on ABC Sport.
Crow Luke Pedler has come to the bench pointing to the inside of his right knee, did the flexibility testing, and now they've put the spray on it, so he should be good to return. Caleb Daniel just coming back on the ground as well. Laird actually hit him. It wasn't really paying attention, and it was more of a bump than a punch, so I think he'll be okay despite the fact it was off the ball.
You know how many unanswered goals it was?
13.
13. They've stopped the rot, but it's nearly taken 2 whole quarters. Unbelievable stuff. Back in the middle of the ground. Trembath into the ruck. Gets it down to Sheasel, who pumps a long ball inside the forward 50. Curtis crashes the pack. Waiting for some rovers. No one really wanted to grab the footy for North. Dersman gets there in the end. Sheasel handballs to Simpkin, tries to ride the bump and tackle of Murray. Ball in dispute. Finno Sutherland looks for Will Dawson of North, and he just fists it forward up towards Costanti. Handball towards Spargo, who couldn't gather it out over the boundary line in the left forward pocket. We'll have a throw in. North trailing by 74 points.
Tom, ruckmen that follow up their play and give the ground level players support are worth their weight in gold. Toby Murray was outstanding then. Just his tackle and pressure. That was terrific play.
Can the Roos go back to back? Trembath easily knocked over by Toby Murray. Swatted it towards Sam Berry. Overruns it. Sheasel was tracking. Max Michaelani dives in. Lays a tackle. Top of Constanti. Will get a ball up.
Adelaide's Oval is almost like kryptonite, isn't it, for the Kangaroos? They've played here this 14th time, and inevitably they're going to lose again. It's unusual why one venue causes them so much challenge.
Especially when, like, numbers are numbers, but really it's different playing groups, isn't it, Jamo? It's something that doesn't linger. 0-14 they'll be if they don't get the job done, but they're down 74 at the moment. Tap down, Sheasel hands it towards Spargo, missed his target, spun in the tackle and gave it away to Keys. Little fumble, but he paddles it to the advantage. The Crows have the runners. Braden Cook is clean. He turns on a dime, kicks up through the eastern side to Saligo. He marks, not a lot of overlap. Enough time near the Bashir stand to steady. Waits for some options, and on the 45 kicks to Peatling. He'll hand it back to Jake Saligo. He's really in his groove now. Jake Saligo to the 50. Waiting for it was Keys. Nearly got crunched. Was hit as the ball hit his chest. The umpire is going to give it to him in the end. Free kick. Can Zerhard ask the question. It was more of a belly tickle, I think, than an actual kind of in-the-back steamroll. But hard enough that the free kick was earned from Ben Keys.
And even going back to the contest, I think it was Spargo where he released the ball. We talk about and hear a lot about ball security and test and take the tackle.
Keys wants to move it quickly. North have been caught napping. Braden Cook all alone. 25 out, takes the uncontested mark. It is a tighter angle, but closer to home, and we saw him slot one on from this region earlier.
But Spargo released it. The ball's live again, and that's where Adelaide is so dangerous, when there's speed on the ball and the ball users. Cook got involved. Really good bit of play.
Third goal, Tom, from this position.
Braden Cook opens the angle, curls it towards home, and hits the post on the
very
right.
Close, Jamo.
A little early from Rod Jameson. Crows lead just continues to grow. 20. That's what the Roos are down. They're currently up by 75, the Adelaide Crows. 16-10, 106 to North Melbourne's 4-7-31.
So Daniel brings it back through Comben. Parker's got it right half back for North Melbourne. Down the line. It's a kick. A few Crows there. Waiting at the ground was Worrell for the drop mark. He kicked it backwards. Dangerous ball to Cumming. He took on the traffic in the tackle of Dersma. Went again, got the handball out to Worrell. That man Cook has it centre wing. Kicks up towards right half forward. Contest between Fogarty and Comben. Rode by Rochelle. He's thrown into the ground holding the ball. Good pressure there from Parker, leading the way, the veteran, in defence, and a bit of a scuffle on.
That's what you don't want to happen. Like, it was Rochelle, he should have handballed then, and he thought he'd take on a couple of players, and it just breaks it down. When you're so far ahead, you want to do things you probably wouldn't normally do. Now Kangaroos have the footy.
So from the free kick, Parker in the middle of the ground looking for Wardlaw. Fell out the back to Trembath. Clean to Sheasel. Shifts the play out wide to Darling, centre wing.
Darling waits for an option. Coming out to meet him is Will Dawson. Game 10. Plays on. Spots the target he likes. Central, 20 from home. It was Finn O'Sullivan and didn't have the height up against Luke Nankervis, who gets back and cuts him off. Guina with the footy. Currently leading by 75. Nankervis with the short pass wide. Worrell uses it to Isaac Cumming. Remember when they picked him up, Jam, I thought, gee, it's a risky one. 6-year free agent Isaac Cumming, who's had a history of soft tissue issues. He's only missed 2 games in the last 2 years. It's been very reliable. Long kick out the back door of a pack. Knocked forward by Dan Curtin to Toby Murray. Rides the contact of Sheasel and just walks with him on his back. Got it to Saligo, who towed it forward. Keys will paddle it on. Dan Curtin with 2 fumbles. They were out. Picked up by Luke McDonald. He'd handed it towards Will Dawson. His handball smothered. Shoots towards Berry. Keys now 45 out. Gives it to Zach Taylor. Now off to Luke Nankervis. Arch the back. Sidesteps Glenn Ayers. And Luke Nankervis
with a sensational finish for his second. And they are toying with the Roos now. The collective noun for a group of Crows is a murder, and that is what we are seeing. It has been 17 of the last 19 goals, and Adelaide are up by 81. 17-10, 112 to 4-7-31, approaching time on in the third on ABC Sport.
Well, it has been a murder, hasn't it? Once again, just looking at the replay, missed tackles, getting stepped, no pressure on the ball carrier. But credit to Adelaide, and I think you called it, Aaron, the kick from Saligo was absolutely sensational. Under pressure, just saw a player ahead of the footy and set up that forward entry and ultimate goal to Adelaide.
Going back to the Wayne Miller pocket profile, Tom, one of the questions is, if you could eat anything you liked, what would it be? Well, Wayne says lollies.
I'd say Hake's chocolate. Quick kick out of the middle from Adelaide again. Peatling with the clearance. Up towards Taylor, working with Myers, and a tussle there. Gets it out over the boundary line. We'll have a throw in right half forward. What would yours be, Jamo?
Almost go like a steak sandwich.
Yeah. Used to do them at the old golf club that I was at. Fantastic. And by the way, you talked about kegs before. How many did you complete in your career after a big loss? Not just you on your own.
Oh. Yes, times were a little different back then.
So Sherry won the free kick from the boundary throw-in against McAndrew. Goes short to Simpkin.
I do love beer.
Simpkin goes short to Zane Dersma. Number 4 pick.
We've got a... Oh, goodness me.
Wow. So he was hoping Simpkin was going to run on for him there, and even if he did, he missed him by miles and kicked it straight to Rankin. And tough effort there from Caleb Daniel, who's been made to work it today. But Josh, they're coach killers.
Yeah, they are. And I was even looking on the open side of the ground. They had extra numbers. He almost could have kicked and gone back around Adelaide's defence, but chose to go forward, miskicked the kick, and this is the result.
Crows by 81. Tossed in, still in the third term. Just tossed in past Sherry, picked up by Davies Uniacke. He's tackled by Peatling. Pinballing around off a couple of shins. McAndrew extracts it, hands it to Jordan Dawson. Sweeping handball, a little bit hot for Dan Curtin. Neil Bullen's coming though, gathers, and caught high. Griffin Logue just stuck an arm out. A little bit careless. Free kick to the Premiership Demon.
Well, that play there, he fumbles the ball and still can pick it up. And then they give away a free kick. Again, it's just indicative of how this game's unfolded.
Alex Neil-Bullen drives it to the goal square. Little hot for Toby Murray. Saligo off the ricochet, paddles it to Ben Keys. Kicks it around the body, just a bit soft. Myers gets back, takes the intercept mark. Short pass for the Roos to the right back pocket. And the mark taken by Dylan Stevens. St. Peter's product, but just before you started working there, Josh?
Yep, he was, a few years before me.
Kicks up towards the eastern side. It's the Crows by 81.
Contest out at left half forward for Adelaide. Roved well was Millerer to Laird to Cumming on the logo. Finds Butts. Millerer working it beautifully. He's in the centre square, goes long to the top of the goal square. Murray couldn't complete the mark. Ball in dispute. Right forward pocket for Adelaide. Clever from Rochelle. Socketed it. And he kept it in with a little back heel. Logue gathers the footy. Tackled. Play on, says the umpire. Rochelle could get back on the end of this. He goes 1-2 with Saligo. Hit the post. We saw it in the showdown. Rochelle knock it back to Philthorpe. That would have been one of those great plays again. Unfortunately for Adelaide, minus score 17-11, 113 North, 4-7-31.
That is incredibly talented too, isn't it? With the heat all around him then, just to put his foot on there and stop it like a soccer player. Just like the one in Sydney where he sort of the side of the boot and laced it out in the middle of the ground.
Sheasel up to the corridor for the Roos. Myers sends it out to the eastern wing. Dylan Stevens calls for some calm and then gets the run of Spargo. He can run onto it, gets the bounce, screws the kick central. Caleb Daniel hands it to McKercher, fumbled. Wayne Miller coming the other way, and now he's tackled in the second bite, drops it, turns it over. Rory Laird gets it out towards Rankin, then Isaac Cumming. The Crows get out of defensive 50 with ease, and Toby Murray turns it to open real estate, spots the one out. Josh Rochelle up against McDonald, well held, paddled it, trying to get to his advantage. McDonald's all over him. Rochelle knocks him to ground, toes it out, and chipped through by Ben Keys. Little bit of Adelaide United there. Couple of soccers, and in the end, Ben Keys converts in front of goal. The Reds could have used that last night. Adelaide up by 88. over North Melbourne. Goona 18-11, 119. North Melbourne 4-7-31. Time on in the third. Braden Ingram downstairs.
I think you'll find Josh Rochelle went to the umpire there and said any danger of a free kick. He did all the hard work, bustled the defender out of the way, and Ben Keys took his glory.
Well, Gemma, I was just about to say something positive for the Kangaroos in that build-up. It was better. They sort of changed the angle of the kick. They just didn't go quick and blast it forward. They had a bit of method, but then I think it was the McKercher fumble and then the turnover to Adelaide. Koeman was a little bit guilty in not defending and covering the outlet in Toby Murray. And once again, hold on to your hats when there's speed on the ball with this Adelaide side. At the moment, they're running white hot. They're so difficult to defend.
I just think that handball to McKercher was wrong anyway. Like, it was the wrong option. Put himself under pressure. You had time, understand why you gave it, but you didn't need to give it.
So Peatling entered the contest from the front and then kicked it back towards Nankervis. Sort of a defensive clearance, and that was a leap from Nankervis. He's been good today. Goes to Peatling, finds Alex Neil-Bullen right half forward on the chest. So Nankervis was the late in. Officially, with Riley Philthorpe ruled out yesterday. Kicks to the top of the goal square. Toby Murray couldn't complete the mark. It was rowed by Rochelle. His quick kick was marked by Stevens, and he was clean enough to Spargo, who's worked his way all the way down the other end of the field.
Charlie Spargo goes for a trot, but there's not a lot ahead. Adelaide has really zoned the eastern wing. He has to very late give it to Parker and then Simpkin. All these disposals are tough, under a bit of pressure, but they do well. Trimbath marks in the centre square. Short kick wide. Spargo. Pinpoint as he gets it up to half forward. Wardlaw pushes off Peatling, takes the mark, hands it to Spargo again, who kept running. Tackled as he kicked towards the top of the goal square. Curtis caught behind. Josh Worrell gets the intercept for the Crows, leading by 88. Short pass. Here's Isaac coming.
Just Isaac Rankin's defensive work to run him down and put that pressure on Spargo, and there was a missed kick and Adelaide win it back.
Crows fans up and about on the text line. Trucker Pete says if this keeps going, Philthorpe and Walker can come back from via the Sandful. Trip to Tassie next week, so they might actually have to be careful with them, to be honest, Pete. But nice to know you're relishing the current situation. Adelaide's got it on the eastern side late in the third quarter on ABC Sport. Good footy coming your way. We've got the D's and the Hawks, and then the Blues and the Dogs on ABC Sport.
I was there last year when Adelaide played Hawthorn. It was like 3 degrees when I was walking my way to the game.
I don't think you were happy with the umpiring that night, Gemmo, from memory.
At all.
Dylan Stevens bursts through the middle of the ground, takes a bounce, kicks inside the forward 50 for the Roos, but coming over the top was coming. He's just punched it through. Great second effort, or great defensive effort from the wingman. And that's a minor score. North Melbourne 4-8-32. Adelaide 18-11, 119. Alistair Clarkson, I should say, hasn't left the building. He's back in the coach's box.
Rory Laird, short pass out of the defensive goal square to Jordan Dawson. Right back pocket. Good afternoon for the skipper, who, despite the fact he's been in and out of the side with his personal troubles, keeps finding the footy. That's disposal 20. Wasn't a great one, though. Only found Zane Dersma left half forward for the Roos. He'll play on quickly. Gets it to Trembath. Mentioned before, haven't seen a lot of him. This a shot on goal to come from 45 out. Disposal number 5 for the big man.
Only his 13th game. I watched him against Brisbane. He kicked 4 or 5, I think, that day too. Just presented and was really clunking him deep in a pack. I was on the ground, and it's good size, 193. He's kicked 13 goals in his career today.
And 3 majors against the Crows last year. Cooper Trembath to open his account this afternoon. Long kick with ease from 50. Just a couple of steps, lean back. Nice strike. Gets one back for the Roos. Margins 81. Goona 18-11, 109. North Melbourne 5-8-38. 26 gone third term. On the text line, Libby's driving home from a marvellous week up in the Victorian Alps. Thrilled to hear the Indigenous names being used. It's really good to hear the strong, clear advocacy, and love the information coming through. We'll keep it up for you, Libby, as we interchange all the nicknames and normal names and Indigenous names across the round. But has been a lot of fun. I guess, doing our best to educate as many people as we can through the next fortnight. But
I think the Barossa and Gather Round is great for tourism here, but I've got to say, I went back to your hometown last. I went to Perth, and my first time at Margaret River. It is an amazing place down there.
Beautiful.
My eldest daughter's boyfriend ran 80 kilometres in 10 and a half hours. Just
Ultra
phenomenal.
marathon.
Yeah.
That's remarkable.
Beat his personal best by an hour. It's just incredible what they put their bodies through.
That is incredible. From the ruck contest, it was roved by Taylor, but the umpires pulled out a free kick. It is going to go Adelaide's way. Isaac Rankin has it. He's going to kick out wide towards his skipper, and it was just a bit of a lazy kick as Davies Uniacke was able to cut it off. Handballs it off to Larkey. 60 from goal, steps inside, kicks it up towards Curtis. In front was Michael, and he knocked it to Nankervis. Going in harder for the footy was Worrell of Dersma, but they have caused a turnover momentarily, but Davies Uniacke has wrapped up quickly and will have a ball up 25 from goal.
Little late run from the Roos here, just to get a bit of credibility back. What has been an awful afternoon.
A minute remaining in this third quarter. A goal would be nice.
Here's an opportunity. Eleni T tosses it up. Sherry took it out of the ruck and handed it to Curtis, who was running by, but turned straight into a wall. 10 out, tackled by both Nankervis and Cook. We'll try again, North Melbourne. Another reset. Toby Murray gets in front this time. Tapped it to Rankin. Found some space. Quick kick. Short towards Taylor. He's now 30 out from the Roos goal face. The Kircher was waiting for him with a big tackle. Let's see if the Roos can get a jump on the third time. Toby Murray down. Laird now for the Crows. Gets it back to Rankin. Clearing kick out towards the broadcast wing. 2-on-2 there. Fogarty crunches the pack. It collapses. Saligo running by us was Logue. Parker's first to the footy. Spun in the tackle. Gets the handball out to Daniel. North Melbourne with a chance here. Clock's against them. Zerha to Finn O'Sullivan. Central kick to McKercher. Knocked away very late. Thought the mark should have been paid. Getting in was Taylor. And ball hits the deck. Tackle laid by Pedler. It'll be tossed up to wrap up the third term.
A lot of good things, Adelaide, albeit against the opposition, but they'd have to be pretty pleased on all facets of the game and how they've executed.
So Sherry got it down to McKercher, who handballs to Wardlaw, steps through some traffic. Dangerous handball to Blamires, and it was blocked by Pedler. Flicks it back to Laird. Now Berry for the Crows. Kicks up the wing looking for Keys. That's a strong spoil from Will Dawson, but Crows fall out the back to Saligo, who got it to Rochelle, and back to Saligo, but the siren sounds. And look, the game was already over at half-time. The Crows extended their lead in that quarter. They kicked 4 goals to 2. Adelaide 18-11, 119. North Melbourne a 5-8, 38 at three-quarter time.
If you just joined us and are thinking, what on earth has happened today? So the Roos 4-5 heading in. We thought it would be a competitive affair. They were up by 16 early stages, had the first 6 scoring shots. Adelaide responded, were up by 4 at the first break, and then it exploded. They kicked 10 unanswered in the second term. Margin blew out to 66. And now it is 81. The goal scorers, 2 to Keys, Rochelle, Saligo, Peatling, Nankervis, Fogarty and McAndrew. Singles to Dawson, Cook, Rankin and Murray. Meanwhile for the Roos, all individual, Wardlaw, Spargo, Larkey, Curtis and Trembath. Thanks for sticking with us. It's been a long afternoon. Bit of a grind, but there's some good footy coming. Melbourne and Hawthorn up next, Nam and the Hawks. And then Carlton and the Western Bulldogs will get a preview at the G up next. On ABC Radio, Sport Digital and ABC Listen. This is Saturday Footy on ABC Sport.
Guy Montgomery is back with a new assistant.
Sam Campbell. Take the job. What is the job?
The new season of Guy Montgomery's Guy Mont Spelling Bee. Wednesday nights on ABC TV and ABC iView.
On ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital, and on ABC Listen. This is Sir Doug Nicholls Round with ABC Sport.
Jordan Dawson in point. Trace a bullet up to Keys, who gives it back to his skipper. Inside 50, waits the kick, and Braden Cook takes it in front of the Rashudo stand. Tight angle, Braden Cook, the showdown hero. On the right with a gorgeous finish.
It falls in the lap of Rochelle. Handballs it back to Berry. He goes inside the forward 50 looking for Keys. It's brought to ground rather. Fogarty to Saligo. To Keys on the left. He snaps them better on the left, does Ben Keys. And another one to the Crows.
Picked up by Luke McDonald. He'd handed it towards Will Dawson. His handball smothered. Shoots towards Berry. Keys now 45 out. Gives it to Zach Taylor. Now off to Luke Nankervis. Arch the back. Sidesteps Blamires. And Luke Nankervis with a sensational finish for his second. Toby Murray turns into open real estate, spots the one out. Josh Rochelle up against McDonald, well held, paddled it, trying to get to his advantage. McDonald's all over him. Rochelle knocks him to ground, toes it out, and chipped through by Ben Keys. Little bit of Adelaide United there.
This is Sir Doug Nicholls Round on ABC Local Radio, Sport Digital, and on ABC Listen.
The Crows have been feasting on the hapless Roos this afternoon. It's supposed to be a blockbuster affair. It's been very one-sided, but hopefully our next fixture is much better. We've got the 5th place Hawks up against the 8th place D's. Only 2 points separate them. Should be a cracker at the MCG. Corby Middlemass is going to call the action for ABC Sport. He can join us now with a preview, Corby.
As it's got game of the round type billing this, and with good reason. So 2 6-win teams. The Demons, do they belong in that top category of teams in premiership contention? That's what we're here to find out. They get the Hawks at a good time without their fullback and their full forward. There's no Barris and there's no Gunston. There's also no late change, so that's good news on what has been a glorious day in Melbourne. 23 the forecast top. Sun's still out at the moment. It's warm out, so a beautiful night for football. It's been marketed around the Pickett Pocket versus the Wizard Bay. So there's 2 bays here at the MCG. One's been dedicated to Keziah Pickett, and they're all going to wear the Pickett Pocket hats, and then naturally the Wizard hats in the Wizard Bay at the other corner of the ground. So a nice little sell. Keziah Pickett at one end, and of course Nick Watson at the other. It's all in front of us. 30 years on from the merger game back in 1996, the latest edition of Melbourne and Hawthorn. Following you there at Adelaide Oval. Next up here at the G, no late change.
Cannot wait for it, Corby, and that is a very enticing affair. 2 of the best small forwards in the game. So Corby Middlemass, Ben Cameron, Adam Ramanauskas and Luke Ball with you at the MCG for Nam and Hawthorn up next. The only positive out of a one-sided affair, Jamo and Josh, is that the ABC Sport crew comes together and starts to troll through the record books and see what's going on. So Mitch Turner loves a stat out west. Got in touch and said Adelaide's 13 consecutive goals is an equal record for them, matched against the Giants from 2013. We mentioned earlier that in the second quarter, Adelaide were plus 62, which is the 10th highest in the history of the competition in AFL and VFL in a quarter. In the second quarter, I should say. Adelaide's second most ever in any quarter. It has been a very one-sided affair, and currently if they win by this margin, 81, it'll be their biggest ever victory over North Melbourne. Aaron Bryans, Tom Wilson calling the action, Rod Jameson, Josh Francou to break it all down.
I was just reflecting, back in my day, we played the Kangaroos and we actually belted them one night at Footy Park by a significant mark. I reckon it was
73, 91.
Yeah, I think Wayne Schimmelbusch might have got sacked after that particular game, actually, as a coach. Just trying to think. So, in terms of just how, now, I can't recall
Rod
the build-up
Jameson,
to that.
20 touches, 8 goals.
Oh. How did you remember that game? I can't believe you remember that.
Wow.
How would you remember that game? Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes it's weird.
What a performance.
Well, yeah, I'll just turn my mic off now.
8 goals and 20 touches.
Just a casual Saturday afternoon.
I didn't know you had that in you, Jamo. That caught us all off guard. That was brilliant.
Now to your actual job, Jamo. What's the last quarter got for us?
Well, what were you going to say after that? Or you just wanted us to know that you kicked 8?
Well, no, it was just probably more around where they are right at this particular moment. I don't think they're actually going to move their coach on, but these sort of defeats really do. We spoke about the brand and where they're going and where everyone thinks they are, but they just, the coaches, like, it just does not help. Again, it's not, a result like this is not about a coach. Again, I know we said this at half-time, but you just need to see the third quarter was a little bit much of what it was in the second. The Kangaroos only scored 2 goals. Adelaide 4-5 now. I just want to see the Kangaroos dig deep and really defend like that.
Crows by 81. They're about to burst out of the middle again. Peatling to Rankin, got it to Mike Lanny, but Sheezel with a run-down tackle. Quick inside 50 for the Roos. Trembath the target, 3 to beat. He's trying to tow it out of there. Just can't break free. Wayne Miller wrenching it out. Tries to extract the footy, but Spargo stays with him. They collapse in a heap, 25 out.
The luxury that Adelaide have got now is even a big McAndrew trying to manage his game time. He's only a young player and very combative role in the ruck.
Still out there and swats that out of the ruck contest. Trying to look for the boundary line. Davies Uniacke's there, but can't keep it in. And Rankin actually pushes him over. Free kick that didn't really need to be there. North Melbourne can get a set shot here from Davies Uniacke.
The other thing you can do as well is put Pedler on ball, which he is now, even expose Curtin to more inside minutes to develop his game as well.
I think I'd put Toby Murray, you're right, in the ruck and probably just let him go for the quarter.
Yep.
LDU wants to share it, places his kick, 20 from home, Trembath the target, getting across was ball ace, knocked it down, Worrell shoots the handball wide to Cook, who dukes it out towards Peatling, and then Keys kicks to the eastern side. North have the numbers, Comben there to cut it off.
Quickly handballs to Daniel, back inside the forward 50, looking for Curtis, who is nursed under the footy. There's a free kick there. Probably not the perfect kick, but his opponent just Miller just pushed him under the footy. So Curtis will have a shot, probably about 35 metres out and a slight angle to the left.
Yeah, you're right, Tom. Adelaide supporters not all that happy with it, but he had only intention was to push Curtis under the footy, and well picked up by the umpire.
He's had a quietish day, 18 goals, kicked one early in this game. Apparently his bench press is insane.
Paul Curtis slots that through on the left. North Melbourne get the first goal of the last term. That's Curtis's second of the day. They lead by, they trail by 75 points, North Melbourne. They're 6-8-44, 18-11, 119 the Crows. You mentioned the bench press. I'm guessing you're wanting to say what yours is, Jamo. What was your career best?
Well, I was actually bring it up. But I think Paul Curtis is something like, for such a small bloke, he's like 150 or something like that.
Wow.
It's 137 and a half, actually.
And yours?
Was mine.
Not bad.
Pretty good.
That's like two of you, Aaron.
You want to try it? I'm sure it'll be a good Comcam if we can put that up on socials. Crows by 75. Gurner in front here on Garnerland. Tossed up. Sherry takes it out of the ruck. McAndrew crossed the line. So
that's a frustrating rule, that one, too. Like, Jerry just stayed down. McAndrew's gone up to go for the ruck, expecting the body. He missed it. Then he jumps over the line, and there's the free to the Kangaroos.
They're not supposed to bait the opponent. They've been trying to stamp that out. But Tristan Sherry gets the footy here. Awkward ball drop, but gets under it. Straight and high. Up towards the 50. Trembath nearly ripped it away from Larkey. Front and square was Spargo. Had a hack, tumbled its way towards the right forward pocket and over and out. Boundary throw in to come 15 out from goal. Paul Curtis had a funny old week. So at training, he kind of grabbed at his right hamstring. Everyone thought, gee, there might be an injury there. Alistair Clarkson said, no, he's just hurt his toe. Okay. And now he's here playing, so seems to be all right. Tossed in. Sherry tapped it down. Sharp, though, by Rankin. Throws it on the boot. Bit of top spin as it rolls its way up towards the broadcast wing and taken by Comben. Went back on the 45, a bit of a dicey kick. Parker had to work for it. Gets it to McDonald. Daniel to O'Sullivan, and now Sheasel through the centre circle. Loops the handball out wide. Logue near the eastern side. Drills it. Hard towards the 50, too much on it. Curtis never stood a chance. Worrell cuts it off, but not paid. Was knocked out of his hands as his feet landed on the turf. Davies Uniacke pounces, gets it to Zerha. Stevens tries to pull the kick. Just bounced towards Spargo. He's under pressure now from Cook. Got a handball out. Cross the body. Zerha back at home. Attacking 50. Heads for home. It drops short. Trembath had it ripped away by Sherry. It should have been a mark. Adelaide say thank you very much and get it out of there.
And Fogarty's just thrown Comben to the ground. The umpires have put the whistle away here. Very strange. Dawson competing against three roos, and Comben took his legs out, and the umpire, who's way further away from the umpire here, is the one that calls the below-the-knees free kick.
21-9 disposals in favour of the Kangaroos, and they've been inside 50 on 5 occasions. So putting a fair bit of pressure on Adelaide in this last quarter.
Turned up a little too late, Jamo.
Totally.
Got to finish off the game strong. So Dawson finds Rankin on the logo. Members side of the ground.
They haven't defended that little 45 kick at all well today, North Melbourne. Just conceded too many of them.
Rankin goes long inside the 50, up towards Alex Neil-Bullen. Couldn't complete the mark. Fogarty going to work, trying to get it out of the contest, but it'll be held in there.
Interesting stat as well. Scoring efficiency inside forward 50 for Adelaide. They're running at 75%, which is a huge number. Competition average probably about 50%, running at 75% scoring efficiency.
Tossed up. McAndrew bangs it out of there. Berry looking for the footy, but it is escorted over the boundary line.
I'm loving Thursday night footy. I don't know, just talking about how it hurt his toe and we thought it was a hamstring.
Yeah.
See Tom Stewart on Thursday night after the game. In the last 30 seconds, they said it looks like he sort of torn his hamstring.
Yep.
And they asked him after the game, he said he kneed himself in his hamstring.
Gave himself a corky.
And gave himself a corky.
Incredible.
And, like, how can you do that?
Out of the stoppage, Davies Uniacke retreats with a handball to Wardlaw, thumps it forward, Sheasel 3 bites at it, couldn't control the mark. Laird picks it off, hands it towards Ball Ace. Short kick, not the required 15 to Berry. Has to zig and zag away from O'Sullivan. Back to Ball Ace. Gets right under this kick. Down the line, 2-on-2. McAndrew flies, brought down. Curtin clean on the scoop. Hands it to Saligo. Adelaide in space in the corridor, but Rankin fumbled. Spargo's closing bit. He'll get away from him. Isaac Rankin hard towards the top of the goal square. Fogarty easily brushes off Comben. Darcy Fogarty looks like he never left. Right back in at his best. Set shot to come, 20 from home, slightly to the left.
There's a little bit of an issue there. So Spargo goes to Saligo thinking he was going to get it, as opposed to going to Rankin, who had the football at the contest, so he was able to then turn around, sit down and then have that kick deep inside 50.
So after a month on the pine, the fog has cleared. Big Darcy's back. And Fogarty's missing. That was a shocking ball drop. Hooked it across the body and for a minor score on the left. Did all that work to pump him up. Still on 2 goals for the afternoon. The Crows up by 76.
You can't knee yourself in the ham. It's like trying to lick your elbow, isn't it?
Have you tried?
Oh, you just can't.
So playing on from defence is McKercher from that minor score. And they'll bring it out towards Comben at right half back. Kick came from Zerha. Comben down the line. Wardlaw sitting underneath it. He had 2 Crows create the contest there. Was that touched? Was in the end, and Wardlaw takes his time to get up. He was hit by Miller and Edler. And we'll have a boundary throw in.
He was set up with that kick, wasn't he?
Yeah. Hospital ball. So the attendance for today, 41,313. It seemed a little empty early on, but after that second quarter run, perhaps a few more Crows fans got here. So Simpkin from the clearance up towards Trembath, who takes it just inside the paint of the boundary line. Right half forward, looks for Curtis, who does the same in the right forward pocket. About 30 from goal. It's going to take a tough kick, but he is on the right side for a left footer.
Reliably informed his bench press is 160.
160?
That's huge, isn't it?
Goodness me. Well, we don't know how heavy he is, but that'd have to be nearly double his weight, wouldn't it?
Have to be close.
Yeah. Paul Curtis has kicked 2 goals already. Runs around for the snap on the left, and he's hit it beautifully. Straight through the middle. Bend it back. And that's a 3rd for Paul Curtis. Another goal for the Roos in this term. They've got the only 2. They go to 7-8-50. Adelaide 18-12-120. 9 minutes gone. Final term.
He did that really well then, Curtis, in terms of his forward craft to run back to goal to protect the zone or the space that he's going to tick back up into, and did. And the kick from, was it Trenbath, wasn't it? Just a nice little tick lead, nice little connect, and a terrific finish from Curtis. And as you said, he hasn't had a huge day. He's still kicked his 3 goals, but hasn't been a lot of inside 50s that have come in with any sort of method. So it's been a tough day at the office for the North Melbourne forwards.
Almost 50% of the Kangaroos score. Yeah. That's what he has done too. But the bench press thing came up. I thought about it because Wayne Miller he out-wrestled him deep in there, and I'm just going, Jesus, big, strong, but pocket profile, Wayne Miller, your best bench press.
You love a read. Crows by 70, tap down to Rankin, uses Pedler, then Berry.
120 kilos.
Searching kick to the 50. Logue gets back with the fingertips. Fogarty tries to track it to the scoreboard. Tackles Logue. Putting the body in is coming. Shot out. Neil Bullen looped it over the top to Rochelle, but it's coming back. Fogarty with a bit of contact on Parker in the back play. So the Roos get some relief.
How do you want to see Adelaide finish this game? I know the cue's in the rack, but do they need to finish it strongly or just get through unscathed?
Well, Matthew Nicks went hard after the Richmond game, saying we haven't really played a full 4 quarters all year, so you probably would want to see them put the foot on the throat.
Yeah, well, Kangaroos have kicked 2 and Adelaide haven't kicked 1 yet, so you certainly wouldn't want to see Adelaide give away half a dozen goals.
Parker's kick is coming right back, off hands to Rankin, kicks to the pocket. Parker should have cut it off, fumbled. Fogarty rips it away, hot handball towards the scoreboard, and the Roos do enough to get Neil Bull into the ground. Ball up to come, 10 out, right forward pocket.
Yeah, last 3 of the game too, Jamo. So 2 this quarter and last 3 of the game. Parker tries to clear it out of defence, and a high ball hits the ground. Michael Annie goes in. He's got 3 roos for company. One of those is Finn O'Sullivan. The other is Sheasel. Back to Logue. Quick kick out of defence from Myers. It's high, and Butts did well. Pushed his opponent under it. Just couldn't complete the mark, but fishes a handball out towards Cook. He runs to right half forward. Kicks the ball to the top of the goal square. Saligo won out the cage. Couldn't complete the mark. Well gathered by Rochelle. Throws it on the left. Boom, that's special! He is a special player. He's already done it at this end on the right. This time on the left. Josh Rochelle. 19-12-126. It's his 3rd goal of the afternoon. North 7-8-50. That's a 76-point margin. 11.5 gone in the final 10.
That is an incredible goal. The way that Saligo almost has taken like a first slip catch. Unlucky and unable to do it. But then Rochelle coming in. He's gone left and then right. He's spun out, and the football's almost had to go back the other way.
He did that in the first quarter too, didn't he?
Yep.
Just to spin out and kick the goal on his right that time. But wow.
He might have a claim. He might have a claim to a pocket here.
Yeah.
He certainly might have a claim to goal of the year.
Oh, that's what I thought you were referring to. Yeah. He's saying the pocket.
So much talent in this young man.
Unbelievable.
Tossed up in the middle, the Crows by 76. Toby Murray down. Davies Uniacke trying to gather the footy. Knocked it towards Sheasel. He can't track it. Coming the other way, Simpkin. The Yorta man. North Melbourne's only Indigenous player this afternoon. Gives it to Davies Uniacke. Central to Constanti. Back towards Finn O'Sullivan. Tried to return the favour. And Curvis was there, though, with the tackle. Spargo picks it up, and he cops the same. Holding the ball from Wayne Miller.
He's almost playing career best football, Wayne Miller.
Oh, he definitely is, I reckon.
There'll be a discussion about an All-Australian Blazer for the first-round pick. He's been plagued by injuries. Kicks out towards Michael Annie. Down the line to Keys. Had 2 coming either way. And knocked away from him by Myers. The Roos now in transition. Dersma. Out to McDonald. Dylan Stevens. Flat-footed. Thinks about going left. Loops it right. Handball over the top to Myers. Then Darling. Crows aren't really applying much pressure here. McDonald central. Spargo takes it. Turns. Honours the lead. And rewards Constanti. 48 out. Slightly to the left. They can keep moving the footy. The overlap was there. Dylan Stevens floats forward. Takes it 35 out.
And going back to Miller, even more impressive, he had Constanti basically sitting on him in the first half. They've now dropped that run with roll, but you're right, he's in career best form, isn't he?
Dylan Stevens out of Walkerville. First round pick for the Sydney Swans, and has found his way to the Roos and really started to hit his straps. Just 21 touches this season.
They have a good steak sandwich there.
Dylan Stevens crosses the paint of 50. Poor kick to the left. Minor score. It'll be the Crows by 75.
It's his 3rd behind for today.
So Worrell brings it back in for Adelaide. And Simpkin and Curtin were in a wrestle. And Simpkin won the wrestle but couldn't complete the mark out over the boundary line. Right half forward for North.
You're saying good steak in Walkerville?
Yeah, we did our local program from there, was it? Earlier this year?
Yeah. Last year?
Last year.
Yeah. Took an SA grandstand on the road.
Paul Seedsman, that one?
Like 500 metres away from the ABC building.
Hey, it still counts. We've got it in the car.
Boundary throw in. Davies Uniacke gets it to Simpkin. Looping handball to Dersma. And there's a whistle. It's going to be a downfield. Should be downfield, really. Because they've got it inside their forward 50. But it'll come back to Simpkin outside the 50. And allows the Crows to set up. Doesn't have many options to Simpkin. So he kicks towards the pocket. Flying was Curtis and Millerer. And Millerer is able to get it out over the boundary line for a throw in right forward pocket. So North 7-9-51, Adelaide 19-12-126. Set up this game off the back of 13 straight goals.
Alistair Clarkson very stoic in the coach's box. He's got a lot to think about. They've got the Suns next week at home. Tossed in. Will Dawson does the ruck work. Tapped it straight towards Dan Curtin, though. Dan Curvis, gee, that was an awful kick. Outside of the boot, trying to chip it towards ball ace. Didn't make the contact, and it tumbles over the boundary line. North get another boundary throw in inside 50. Trailing by 75 at the moment. D's and Hawks to come up next, followed by Carlton and the Western Bulldogs tonight. Tossed in. Will Dawson front position. Tap had a high bounce. Didn't favour Curtis. Gathered by Butts around the body. Exits out to right half back. Bounced off the chest of McDonald, who was in front. Out towards Davies-Uniacke, though. Gets it towards Parker. Blamires shoots a handball with his head over the footy to Parker. Gets it out wide to Stevens. North back inside 50. 20 from home. Butts pushes off Curtis. Can't take the mark, though. Trying to gather his Constanti. Paddled it towards Dersma. He'll leave it for Darling, then get it back. Zane Dersma. Tight angle. Looking for something special. And he spears it through. I was going to say a goal, but the goal umpire isn't really convinced. It was low and hard. And
Worrell suggesting he's touched it and the umpire's gone to the goal umpire to review.
There was a goalkeeper there, as you touched on, in the defensive crow, Josh Worrell, and Zane Dersma looking for something special. I reckon he did get the angle. It's, just whether or not it was touched.
Did you play with David Roden, Josh?
No, missed him.
He's the happiest goal umpire I've ever seen.
We need more of that energy. This is a tricky one because it's moving quite fast, but the hand looks in the spot. There you go. They are going to say it did deviate. So it will be a minor score, and Zane Dersma's robbed of a tidy finish. It'll be Adelaide by 74 points now on ABC Sport.
Worrell put his hand up straight away, though, didn't he? So he's pretty adamant he touched it.
And a soft call of touched as well.
Yeah.
So Worrell kicks it into the middle of the ground, straight down the pipe, gathered by Dawson, was clean to Pedler, throws it on the left boot to Curtin. Another lefty, goes around the body, hits up Zach Taylor, centre wing. Forward handball to Berry. He's got some support in Peatling, but he'll just kick it inside. Up towards Saligo. Push his opponent under the footy. Rochelli's there as well. Had some company of Parker. So we'll have a throw in left forward pocket for Adelaide, leading by 74 points. Almost 18 minutes gone in this final term. Really unleashed today. It's the performance that they've been looking for. Push them back towards the top six. So Rankin ran past it, left it for Davies-Uniacke. Simpkin, he took on Toby Murray, and he wrapped him up holding the ball. He'll have a shot 35 out and an angle to the left.
Well, once again, Tom, I spoke about it, I think in the last quarter, this bloke, Toby Murray, in the ruck. If you've got a ruckman that can follow up and chase and tackle and pressure, they're worth their weight in gold. And just through intent and want, got the holding the ball decision. He's been a good backup, hasn't he?
He's good size.
Yeah, 200 centimetres.
Certainly showing a bit.
Pretty handy as a forward as well.
He's starting to really fill out.
The Ibis, Jamo. He's already kicked one today. Can he make it a double? He stabs at it, but stabs truly. 2 for Toby. And the Crows kick their 20th of the afternoon. 2012, 132. North Melbourne, 7-10, 52. 19 gone in the final term.
Well, Sir Doug Nicholls' round it is, but Isaac Rankin sits at the top of Adelaide's disposals. 12 handballs, 14 contested, 14 uncontested, 9 clearances, 6 inside 50s, and kicked 1 goal too. Luke Parker, the other one for the Kangaroos, with 24. Sheasel sort of dropped away, didn't he? 8 or 10 in the first quarter. And he's just sitting at 22, but it's been a tough day for a lot of the Kangaroos players.
Well, Jamo, give us the coaching staff and selection committee a few headaches this Toby Murray, particularly when Walker's fit and Phil Thorpe comes back into the side.
And Nick Murray was out today when he was, I think, meant to be in. So I think
proven to be very competent in the ruck.
Certainly has a step ahead on Finbar Maley now.
Yeah.
Crows by 80. We've still got about 7 minutes to play here at the Adelaide Oval. We'll get you to the MCG for the D's and the Hawks in about 30 minutes' time. Tap out of the middle went the way of Taylor, but he fell into the footy. Wardlaw picks it up. Handball missed its target. McKercher goes in, pushes off and kicks on the outside of the boot. Works towards Simpkin, who marks right half forward, right of the paint of 50. Jai Simpkin will wait for an option. Sheezer will float forward. He's all alone, takes the mark, plays on, tries his own check side and sprays it from 35. Minor score on the right. A little bit too casual there from Harry Sheezel. Crows lead is 79. Tom Wilson, Aaron Bryans, Josh Francou over at Jameson with you at the moment on ABC Sport.
So Rory Laird brings it back in, the Crows veteran, up towards Curtin. He brings it down to the front of the contest. Roving is Peatling. High handball No one in particular. Sheasel and Curtin were there. Daniel roves it at the back. Nankervis tries to spin through a Wardlaw tackle. Got a handball away just in time. Pedler looking for Worrell, but Finn O'Sullivan gets a hand in there. Knocks it out over the boundary line in front of the North bench. A long day for them down there. This game was over very quickly.
Kerry's been on the bench a very long time again in this quarter.
Probably resting him now. The result done. Probably much the same with Lockie McAndrew. Speak of the star South Australian cricketer, but Lockie McAndrew hardly trained this week, so getting a good, well-earned rest. Kicked 2 goals today, the big ruckman for the Crows. So Simpkin wins a free kick from the boundary throw-in. Kicks it towards the top of the goal square. Roving was Trembath, but couldn't grab onto the footy. A fumble out over the boundary line. We'll have a throw in right forward pocket for North. They're trailing by 79 points.
Well, time in possession this quarter being the last. The Kangaroos 51 to Adelaide 34. So the effort's there, but certainly very little too late with 79 points in front to Adelaide. 6 minutes remaining.
Tossed in Roos 50. Will Dawson paddles it down, then goes on the bounce, trying to swat it towards the goal square, but Worrell's waiting. Tumbles his kick out towards the defensive arc. Cook was running onto it with too much speed. Left the footy behind. Had to backtrack with the paddle. Headed out wide. And unable to be pulled out of there by Rory Laird. We'll get a ball up right half back for the Crows.
Aerial dominance from Adelaide, 99 to 66 marks, 15 marks inside 50 to 9, and contested marks 9 to 2 in favour of Adelaide.
Will Dawson down, only found Saligo. Another ball up to come. Braden Ingram headed to the rooms, so we'll be able to get some quick reaction with him, hopefully, before we head to the G. Will Dawson down to Sheasel, off a step, quick kick forward. Bounced off the chest of Spargo, and they come in with a couple of tackles. We're now 40 out, of the North attacking 50. Riverbank stand end, they're down 79 late stages here at the Adelaide Oval.
In the ruck contest, Murray knocks it down. McKercher tries to rove, but out over the boundary line. Throw in left half forward.
Spoke about the pressure of Kangaroos coming in here. They're the #1 rated team in the competition. The result and the margin is significant, but tackling 66 to 43 in favour of Adelaide. So they've done it both ways.
Been all over them. So boundary throw-in, and Toby Murray just takes it out of the ruck. Thumps a kick forward looking for Dawson, but Zerha read it best. Takes an intercept mark, defensive side of centre wing. Just outside the centre square. Goes short looking for Sheasel, but Berry read it better. Handball to Taylor, went through his hands, but Taz time to gather. Forward handball to Pedler, to Cook, who runs, takes a bounce, runs through centre half forward, sets sail for home. There was no one in the goal square. Jordan Dawson was 25 metres out and has baked him, Jamo.
Yep, and deservedly so.
So North with the footy. Parker short pass to Daniel and gets it back. Has a run through the right back pocket. Heads up to the broadcast wing. Well weighted. Zerha takes the mark. Share it over the top and wide to Blamires, right in front of the benches. He slotted in quite well, the supplementary selection pick. Stepped inside, then had to hook across the body back towards the boundary line. Down the line and knocked over play. And, yeah, there is a bit of a scuffle going on here. James Peatling is not happy with Colby McKercher. Has absolutely mounted him and is dragging him through the logo. Players come in to break it up, but a little bit spiteful there. Free kick up at right half forward going the way of the Roos. So Constanti to take it. The few leads close by, but decides to send it long. Up to a 3-on-3, staring into the sun. Larky was never going to have a chance at that. Jordan Butts knocks it over. Braden, what happened down there?
I didn't quite see it, actually, but clearly, as you said, it continued to go on. What I was going to say, though, that Isaac Cumming has spent almost the entirety of this final quarter on the bench. He always gets his soft tissues worked on, given his history and given it is a 5-day break. Clearly, just protecting him as the skipper is as well. Coming to the bench, a great day for him.
Paul Curtis from the boundary throw-in, just tackled as he was trying to get that one forward. The quick kick out landed in the lap of Davies Uniacke. He didn't realise it was going to be paid, so he handballed it off. Dylan Stevens marks at centre half forward, kicks inside the forward 50 and hits the target of Darling. 40 out on an angle to the left.
Just looking at the interchange as well for Adelaide, another player which we spoke about early in this quarter is McAndrew. He spent a fair bit of time on the bench. You'd imagine his day's done as well.
Yeah.
With Toby Murray in the ruck and 3.5 minutes of actual game time left. Should see the game out.
A gorgeous afternoon, considering when we arrived here, it was just absolutely bucketing down.
It was. Jack Darling from 40 metres out. The veteran sneaks it through. So North Melbourne get their 8th of the afternoon. They go to 8:11:59. Adelaide a 12 132. 25 and a half gone in the final term for ABC Sport.
Jim, I often wonder, when you've played so poorly for 3 quarters and you come out and win the last quarter, as a coach, what do you say? Do you just send that one through to the keeper and don't even address it? Is it something that you can cling to leading into the following week's game? I'm not sure how to read this last quarter.
Yeah, I'm with you a little bit too. I mean, yes, they needed to dig in. Adelaide just really had their foot on the throat for 3 quarters, or certainly 2.5, and the margin is the size that it is. But I guess you just want to see something from a club that is renowned. Shin boners haven't really shown much for today.
Crows by 73. They'll be 5-5 after today. Hawks to come on Thursday in Launceston. Out of the middle, tap down towards Davies Uniacke, wrapped up by Taylor, coughed it up. Neil Bullen inside 45. Kick up towards Toby Murray, and releases Wayne Miller with the handball. Sweeps it up towards Rankin. He'll loop his over the top. The handball to Neil Bullen, 45 out, tries to pull the kick to Keys. A little bit too laconic out towards the scoreboard. Intercept by Blamires.
50.
And 50 as well, as Keys just ran off the mark, didn't even want to stand it. So Blamires will be marched up towards the half-back line. Shout out to Fran on the text line, who's got in touch and enjoyed the call. Great to have you with us as always, Fran. Blamires out towards the broadcast wing, and Wardlaw takes a nice mark. 41,000 in the house. They'll be leaving very happy. Didn't get the thunderstorms or the rain. Ended up getting a pretty one-sided affair. Wardlaw to Curtis. Chips the kick out towards Finn O'Sullivan. Races out, sliding low, takes the mark, 45 out, slightly to the left.
He's had 12 disposals. I don't mind him, actually. In the middle of the ground, he's learning his craft.
He's having a good year, and he's done some great tagging roles, run with roles this season, Jamo.
Reports during the week, though, that given he's out of contract in 2027, he's a hot target for the Devils right now. Finn O'Sullivan gives it everything from 55. Hard hit. Oh, geez, flush that. Monster kick from downtown. Finn O'Sullivan with a late highlight. And the Roos reduce the deficit to 67. It also means that it is likely not going to be their worst ever defeat against the Crows. They move to 9-11-65. Goona are 20-12-132.
It's like a flushed 5-iron then, wasn't it, too? Just nice and clean.
How old is he?
Let's have a look here.
3rd year, I think.
3rd year, is he?
Third or 2nd year, maybe?
Yeah. He's only 19.
He's picked 2. Yeah, picked 2 last year. Wow. As in the season before, so this is his 2nd year.
Cal Toomey's report was he's best mates with Sam Lawler, and they want to try and bring both over to the Devils, given they've got a couple of $1 million in their back pocket.
Just a silly question. Like, would they live in Tasmania?
It's not a silly question.
Like, really? I mean, they've got to train, but I don't know.
Like, I think preferably, I think they want to keep them all together. Ball's back in the middle of the ground. I've got a few more thoughts on this, Jamo. There's our man, Sullivan, with the booming kick. Goes the long handball to Davies Uniacke, who took on 2 Crows. Holding the ball. One of them was the skipper, Jordan Dawson. Handballs wide to Laird. Out towards Alex Neil-Bullen. Centre wing. Short to Keys.
I know we've talked about how poor North Melbourne have been, but Adelaide's tackling pressure has been superb. 71 for the game.
Keys inside the forward 50. Flying at that one is Fogarty. Roving is Rochelle. Runs to the pocket. Has a shot for goal. And that one's out of bounds on the full. Back to that point, Jamo. Adam Zampa lives in Byron Bay and plays cricket for New South Wales. So they train in Sydney. He just gets down there when he has to.
Kick a little dodgy, trying to get between a few Crows towards Zerha. They end up getting out of there north. Tremba down the line looking for Curtis, and Butts comes in with a fist. So boundary throw in front of the benches. It is the Crows by 67.
So my point being is, if the player really wanted to live in Melbourne and he was a superstar and they were like, oh, I don't want to live, you could say, well, we can make it work.
It's a lot of flying though. Tossed in. Toby Murray left it in the end, bounced off his shins to Wardlaw, knocked it out. Rankin's there. What an afternoon he's had. Disposal 28 up to left half forward. Low towards Pedler, who marks. Pops up, releases his skipper. Jordan Dawson gets it to Dan Curtin. Back with the flight. Dawson hit him magnificently. Tighten the pocket. 15 out.
I think I've told the story quickly and right, but Phil Smythe I was talking to does some work with Brisbane and also Glenelg. They were talking about traffic in Los Angeles once, and he was talking with Kobe Bryant and just going, you live so far out, you know, the traffic there to get to and from training, it must take you ages. He goes, no, I just land the helicopter on the roof. It's just another world, isn't it?
So Dan Curtin, after the dislocated kneecap on return, his third game back, he misses the left. Minus score, Adelaide's lead, 68 late stages here at the Adelaide Oval.
Caleb Daniel has it in the goal square. Plays on and takes a bounce. Kicks out a defensive 50. Zerha back with the flight, was brave. Couldn't complete the mark. Handball goes towards Parker, shrugs one tackle, gets it to Wardlaw, who took a pounce when he was being tackled. Tackle wasn't held. Handball's at Davies. Uniac, he's mowed down by Pedler.
Well, that's hurt him too.
Yeah. He saw...
Is it a knee?
Oh, no, this could be a disaster for North Melbourne. There's literally 1 second left on the clock, and he's pointed to his left knee.
Oh, that is not good. Looking at the replay here.
This is a very scary sight for North Melbourne fans. It's been a horror show out on the field as the siren goes. Davies Uniac, their star midfielder who's having a great season in 2026, is hobbling on his left knee as the Crows song rings out after they completely romped the Roos by 68 points.
Tom painted the picture so well there. It's obviously elation for the Crows fans after that victory, but it is not good for Luke Davies-Uniacke. The trainers have come out. The Crows have actually come to console him. He's not looking great as he hobbles his way towards the centre square. And Tristan Sherry with a big hug as well. This will be a huge story for North Melbourne, who were annihilated at the Adelaide Oval. They led by 16 points in the early stages. Adelaide by 4 at quarter time. It blew out to 66 after a 10-goal second term. They kicked 18 of 20 goals in a huge run to lead by 81 and ultimately win 20-13-133 to the Roos 9-11-65. It is a huge headache for Alistair Clarkson. Goonoo winners in Sir Doug Nicholls Indigenous round. We've got the D's and the Hawks coming your way next. A quick 15 minutes to wrap things up here at the Adelaide Oval before we send you to the MCG. Goal scorers, 3 to Rochelle, 2 to Keys, Peatling, Saligo, Nankervis, Fogarty, Toby Murray and McAndrew. Singles to Dawson, Cook and Rankin. For the Roos, 3 to Curtis. Individuals to Trembath, Darling, Spargo, Wardlaw and O'Sullivan. Jamo, Josh, it's a pretty ugly affair, but I think all that matters for Crows fans at least is maybe this is the catalyst that really kickstart their season. They're 5-5, turning towards Tasmania, and that was their most emphatic performance of the year.
Yeah, look, I thought they were really, well, outside the first 10 to maybe 16 minutes of that first quarter where the Kangaroos actually just nailed them and really took it to them. And I guess to finish off, the Kangaroos kicked 4-3 in that last quarter to Adelaide's 2-2, 51% time of possession versus 32. So they've got it in them. I thought Tristan Cherry's game was really good, albeit he spent most of the time off in that last quarter. We know that the Kangaroos have got some talent. Again, it's a work in progress, but they're probably more at the end where we are expecting them to perform and perform well. But to throw something up like today was really not ideal and probably one of the worst I've seen for quite some time in terms of differential, Josh, between that second and third quarter.
Absolutely, and I think you nailed it, Tom. When you're looking at North Melbourne, it was a bit of a horror show, wasn't it? And we talked about that second quarter at the halftime break, and the numbers were absolutely staggering. But what I will say is that you've still got to go out and perform to the level to make a side look ordinary, and I thought Adelaide did that. Their tackling pressure, the numbers, it was 72 to 43. So they dominated possession, yet out-tackled North Melbourne, almost by double. So that was a real highlight of their game. They won the other sort of key indicators that coaches look at. The clearances were back. They look good. And just their ball movement, some of their ball movement and their ability to get speed on the ball and be able to hit the kicks under pressure was a real telling factor in the win. Probably the only blemish, as you said, Jamo, was the first little bit of that first quarter, which is still a bit of a concern. I don't think they'd be sweeping that under the carpet. It would still be addressed, I would imagine, on Monday, but their starts continue to be one of their Achilles heel at the moment. They did well to fight back and get the game on their terms, but they'd still be scratching their heads how they can get their players up and about right from the start rather than waiting for halfway through the first quarter to get going.
It is the real anomaly, isn't it? Like it is, you play a really solid team, and albeit the Kangaroos weren't able to, they kicked 3 goal 4. They should have had 6.
Yeah.
They missed a number of easy shots in that first quarter, and then it makes it challenging after that. But I think when you have a look at Adelaide's team and who played well and how they performed, and it was a pretty consistent effort from right across all lines, and most of the players are able to present themselves. Darcy Fogarty, he got some footy into him. It's good to see Dan Curtin back. Alex New-Willen was quieter. I thought Zach Taylor showed moments. Cook as well. Max Michaelani is he just reminds me of Ben Hart, the way he plays, and he always has since coming into this team. And I just love just watching Sam Berry, just the way he performs and plays. Wayne Miller off the half-back, and Cumming we spoke about, and Josh Rochelle in terms of how he's maturing and what he's doing too. So I reckon overall, Matty Nix will be pretty happy.
One of the standouts for me was Toby Murray today. I thought he was outstanding. He kicked 2 goals too. And as I said, through that final quarter, there'll be a few, I guess, selection decisions and headaches for the coaching group around when they've got Walker available, they get Phil Thorpe back in the side. What do they do with Toby Murray? Do they use him like other sides? They just use him as a second ruck with the flexibility that can go forward, as opposed to a Riley O'Brien who can only play in the ruck.
Way better than using a Riley Philthorpe and putting him at risk 100%. As well. He can just play forward.
They're
Absolutely
really reluctant to play Riley Philthorpe in the ruck.
And that's fair enough.
Hardly done it. And, considering he's been carrying his back issue, the reason he's not playing today, Toby Murray's sort of stood up and he's grabbed it today, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. I thought he was outstanding. And as I said numerous times, the thing I'm most impressed with him is his competitiveness at ground level. He gets after the opposition. I don't know how many tackles he had. I'll be able to tell you that in a minute. But his ability to get at the opposition and cause turnovers. And, I thought he was very, very good.
Toby Murray, tackles 2.
A couple of tackles.
Still, for a big man.
But he gets after them, and he supports his midfield group in that. So he's impressed me.
It's a dream result. You think outside of the first 10 minutes, really, Adelaide emphatically win, don't have any injuries, and they, were able to still rest Riley Philthorpe. Taylor Walker's going to come back next week. Archie gets another week in the 2s as well, so they didn't risk anybody. And suddenly they'll have a luxury of riches right before their bye when they take on Hawthorn Thursday at Launceston.
So is Philthorpe due to come back next week, or they don't know? Because if he's under any sort of injury, cloud, risk, don't play him.
Give him a couple of weeks.
It allows them to do that. They go to 6-4 now. It's always a tough task down in Launceston. Certainly won't be conceding that result at all, but it is a good opportunity. The big question then is, what do you do with Taylor Walker, who was pretty much ready to go today, and they've erred on the side of caution. So that's another option that they can have, for Thursday night.
Crows have been good to us, so we're going to try and squeeze in a little 1v1 with Braden Ingram down in the rooms once the Crows make their way down the race. They're just waiting for the last few players to finish their laps, which gives us some time, Jamo, to quickly do the 3-2-1 ABC Footballer of the Year.
I was just having a look, and you could give Adelaide the first 10 if you wanted to, but probably going to go 1 vote, Sam Berry. Like, he's a ball-winning ability and to provide others and tackle hard in the hard footy. So I'll give him 1 vote. Say Jordan Dawson, just his numbers once again as the skipper and how he leads, 6 inside 50s, ended up with 24, 18 uncontested, 8 and clearances. But number 1, and on to Doug Nichols' round, Isaac Rankin, what a game, just consistently across all 4 quarters, 28 disposals, ended up with 3 tackles, 15 contested, 15 uncontested, 10 clearances, 7 inside 50s for 1 goal 2, and was incredibly dangerous.
Crows winners by 68 points and making their way down the race now at the Riverbank stand end. Braden Ingram is standing by after what was an emphatic victory in front of 41,313. What's it like down there, Braden?
Well, they're 4 or 5 deep here, Aaron. Saturday afternoon footy, clearly a winner for the family and friends of the Crows, who are led in by Jordan Dawson. High five with the young Walkers, and Sam Reid, a special guest in the room, the former Swans. He did share a little bit of time with Lockie McAndrew. Or I should say Lockie McAndrew shared some time with him on the Swans list. So he's in here. Big hug for Jordan Dawson as he makes his way in with his family as well. They're all gathering up, and as you say, those players still to return. When you look around and see Tex, Riley, Philthorpe, Kalar Chi, Mitch Hinge, there's a few still to come in, Mark Keane as well. So they are going to need some handy additions. As you say, only a short break heading to this game on Thursday night, so the celebrations might be swift, but they'll enjoy them here. Just gathering in the last couple. A few kids in on the song as well, so it is, of course, Sir Doug Nicholls round, so Isaac Rankin and Wayne Miller have brought in a few extended, so this is great to see as part of Indigenous round. And the lights have just gone off in here for a second as well, so mood lighting in here, just delaying it. Here we go.
Respected by our foes. Admiration of the nation and determination to just the pride of South Australia. The mighty Adelaide Crows.
Give that about a 6 out of 10, guys. Hopefully have someone with me shortly.
Rain downstairs there after Adelaide winners by 68 points here at the Adelaide Oval. So we're shortly going to take you to the MCG for the D's and the Hawks. That's Nam against Hawthorn. Corbin Middlemass, Ben Cameron, Adam Ramanauskas, Luke Ball standing by. No late changes there. If you're listening in the ACT, you'll be off to the NRL. The West Tigers against the Sea Eagles are there. And I should shout as well, I reckon I might have said before Adelaide 5-5. They're actually 6-4. Gave them a loss instead of a win, Jamo. So 6-4 is a very nice place to be on the eve of your bye. Hawthorn to come will be a tricky task, but a good spot for them. Meanwhile, North Melbourne 4-6, and they've got the Suns to come on Saturday next week at home before their bye. So, tale of two different clubs right now as they kind of go in their separate directions, where Adelaide will feel like they're right in the hunt for a final spot, and North Melbourne, if they've had any serious injury to Luke Davies-Uniacke, will be in a world of hurt right now.
Certainly. So Crows have gone 5 of their last 6, and North have lost 5 of their last 6. So you're spot on there with the tale of two teams in that case, and what we saw from performance today is very similar to that analogy.
So you can stay with us across the day on the text line 0437 774 774. So Nam and the Hawks up next, and then Carlton and the Western Bulldogs at Docklands tonight. And selection headaches potentially to come for Matty Nix. Taylor Walker and Callum Archie available to come on the trip to Launceston. But a pretty emphatic performance. It'd be hard to justify dropping anyone in that one, Jamo, but luxury of riches to have, I guess.
Yeah, well, look, I can't see too many weaknesses as well. I mean, Nankervis came in and we spoke about the way he moved and how he used the football. It was really recognised early when he came to the club. I think the players just went, how skillful is this kid? Straight up. And he was skinny. I think he's probably in his 3rd year now, maybe 4th year at the club. But I mean, the ability and what you've seen, if you do the work over summer and give yourself a really solid base, everyone refers to it around the pre-season, but Cook has just been exceptional. Nankervis is there, and I mean, the riches that are coming through. So, all power to it. And that's where Adelaide were able to perform last year with a healthy list.
Well, if Archie and Walker come back, I'm looking through that list today. Who goes out?
Yeah,
and Mitch Hinge too.
Yeah, they're keen to get him back.
Yeah. So, I thought Zach Taylor played really well also. You know, he did what he had to do. Coming off the half-back line, Borlays, he's been super steady. To think a couple of years ago when there was probably lucky to be on the list, and he's really grown and developed into that particular role. So good position to be.
And North still chasing that big scalp, unfortunately. They've had a few competitive games, a big blowout loss to Geelong and now Adelaide, but they're unfortunately the only teams they've beaten are those that are destined to be kind of in the bottom 6 regions. So they've still got a bit to work on, but today certainly wasn't a display of their best brand of footy. Unfortunately, I think the Crows might have overpromised and under-delivered, probably just taking a little bit too long to get to Braden. So we might record that chat and hopefully get it to you across the afternoon at some point, and some reaction down in the Crows rooms as we prepare to go to the MCG for Melbourne and Hawthorn as we continue round 10, Sir Doug Nicholls round, as part of ABC Sports. So 3 votes to Rankin, 2 to Jordan Dawson and 1 to Sam Berry this afternoon. And
Special mention, Tristan Cherry. I thought his game was
really good. Mentioned it through the call, but almost a pseudo midfielder in the numbers that he kind of delivers outside of his tap work. So kind of a lone ranger this afternoon, unfortunately.
Well, he was overall on the ground, ranking number 1 with 10 clearances. Cherry was second with 9, and then first possession also behind Rankin with 11. First possession, Cherry number 2 again. So for a big man and what he does around the ground, so didn't have a big, much of a run in the last quarter, but outside of that, he's certainly one of the contributors for the Kangaroos.
And Will Dawson in the 19 hit-outs as well, matched with Lockie McAndrew. So pretty good job from the 10-gamer, who, as I mentioned, was originally the 3rd-string ruck in the VFL and has been able to get a call-up and is now doing a handy job supporting him at the senior level. So nice to see the Crows finding their feet and their rhythm in terms of where everybody's positioned. Some of the troops come back, and, gee, they miss Darcy Fogarty. You can tell what an impact he does when he's fit and firing. So 2 goals for him on the afternoon, and Adelaide end up kicking 20. They win by 68 points at the Adelaide Oval. 2013, 133 to North's 9-11-65. It included a 13-goal run, which is an equal most for Adelaide in a game. They also had their second biggest quarter in history, where they had a 62-point margin in it, which was the second term, which is 10th all time in the history of the competition as well. So Adelaide Oval annihilation in the end. Gooner get the job done. Huge thanks to Rod Jameson for jumping in on the call and sticking around. Jammer, you were thinking about leaving early, but we got the most out of you in the end.
It's always a pleasure. I love being here, love football, and a bit of Paul Kelly in the background singing about the MCG, and we're not far away.
Had a few late nights here in Adelaide, so it's been nice to have an early afternoon, watch the sun and go and enjoy the rest of the day. Listen to the ABC Sport call. Huge thanks to Josh Francou as well. Tom Wilson for calling the action, to Dom Lombardo, who's right behind us, our tech, and Braden Ingram down in the rooms. We'll get some reaction for you very shortly. But for now, if you're listening in ACT, you're headed to the NRL. West Tigers up against the Sea Eagles. And for everybody else, stay with us as part of our triple header on ABC Sport. It is Melbourne and Hawthorn coming your way next to the MCG, with Corbin Middlemass, Ben Cameron, Adam Ramanauskas and Luke Ball. The Crows winners by 68 here. Enjoy the rest of your day on ABC Sport.
Arguably game of the round. The Demons up against the Hawks as round 10 rolls on. Saturday footy at the MCG. There is no late change. A couple made at selection for the Demons. Turner and Rivers come in. Meanwhile, for the Hawks, they've made 4 changes. They're without their fullback and their full forward. There's no Barris, there's no Gunsteiner, and they take on the D's, who are perfect at this venue. They're 5-0 in season 2026. Corbin Middlemass in commentary alongside Ben Cameron. Hello, Ben.
Hello, Corbin. Great to be here. 30 years on from the merger game. Can you believe that? These two teams meet again as separate entities, and both have gone on to win premierships from that point onwards. One for Melbourne, multiple for Hawthorn. The Welcome to Country taking place at the moment in Sir Doug Nicholls round as well. Looking forward to it. Probably match of the round, as you said.
Let's drop in on the concluding stages of that.
Live amongst all of our communities here now on Wurundjeri land, or generally as Melbourne itself. So to feel truly welcome to this land, respect of the land, respect of the people of the land and the culture of the land is part of the ceremonial process that allows you to feel safe on country to conduct your business. And like I said at the very start, I feel that respect from both the AFL and the 2 clubs here represented today. So I'd like to say on behalf of myself and my community and my ancestors, we say, welcome Wurundjeri country to you all. Have a great time, have a great game, both teams. Nongudjin Deku.
It's been marketed very much as the Pickett Pocket or the Wizard Bay, with Kazai Pickett at one end, and then, of course, Nick Watson at the other. Let's see how that goes this afternoon when they go head-to-head. What a juicy matchup it is in prospect. The Demons, do they belong in that top tier of teams in the competition? They couldn't have got the Hawks on a better weekend. The Premiership Pie, Luke Ball's here with us. Hello, Bally.
Corby, yeah, great to be here. Agree. Given that the grand final rematch didn't really play out, did it? It was a bit of a fizzer in the end with Geelong so impressive. This absolutely shapes as the match of the round. Really excited to come along today, Ben. Beautiful day at the MCG. Two very, very watchable teams, and those two players in particular, Corby, very, very watchable players. Not too many more watchable in the competition at the moment.
Adam Ramanaskas is here. Ram, do the D's belong with the top-tier teams? Are we going to find out this afternoon?
Well, yeah, we are. We're going to find out, and there's probably no better time to get Hawthorn with the outs, Barras and Gunston we spoke about at either end of the ground. But I think Connor Nash has also been critical to the makeup of Hawthorn now for a number of years. That taller midfielder just does a lot of the grunt work, so they'll certainly miss him today. But you look at the matchups; they're just everywhere. Like Bolly and I were talking off air, just who takes Nick Watson? What does Sam Mitchell do with Cozzy Pickett? How does Hawthorn's two-prong ruck attack go against Gawn and obviously Max Heath as well? So there's some fascinating sort of little subplots within this game, but I think by the end of the night we'll find out if Melbourne are the real deal or not.
It's an easy sell if you're trying to make the case for the Demons. Perfect here this year, 5 and zip at the G. No Barras, no Gunston in the opposition. Coming back from Perth. The last 4 teams playing the next week coming back from Perth are 1 and 3. Okay. So all that going against the Hawks this afternoon. It's also, if you're a big fan of your nostalgia, not just we'll be talking about all the great First Nations players, I'm sure, that have played our game over many years in Sir Doug Nicholls round. We got the best First Nations player in the game currently in Keziah Pickett on show this afternoon. It's also 30 years, Ben, since the merger game, of course, going way back to 1996.
It certainly is. As I mentioned in my opener, where am I meant to take that, Corby? It's a tremendous...
I was waiting for you to flick your gag out.
I didn't have a gag about it. I just, it was 30 years ago.
Working well with you too early.
Yeah, the thing that I mainly remember is the jumper with the red up the top, the gold with the hawk in the middle, and the blue down the bottom. It wasn't the best looking jumper.
Ray Chamberlain's with us in the front row of the grandstand. Hello, Razor.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. It is absolutely magnificent down here. 21 degrees. They're expecting 60,000. I'm looking forward to this game enormously. Big shout out to Brendan Hosking, one of our field umpires today, celebrating Game 300, AFL Life membership. Highly respected human being.
The jumpers this afternoon. So the Hawks Indigenous Guernsey has been designed by Carl Amon. The artwork has been done by Delvine Cockatoo Collins. Interestingly, Shay Cockatoo Collins presented him with his first ever jumper. Of course, a former Port Adelaide footballer. The jumper shares the stories through the artwork of the Osprey, which is the Seahawk. So that's depicted on the Hawthorn jumper. Behind it is all about North Stradbroke Island, the waterways, the sandhills and the fishing nets. The colours are picked from the ochre, which are the rocks from the North Stradbroke Island. So that's the thinking behind it. The Hawthorn jumper, which looks spectacular with the white shorts.
And Melbourne's is a celebration of Nyiripi, which is a small town in the NT, 440 kilometres north of the Alice Springs. Tells the story of the fire dreaming. So that is the story depicted on the Melbourne jumper. Very reminiscent of their usual jumper with the red chevron up top, and then a lighter picture of the fire dreaming below, a lighter blue than usual. I do have their dark navy shorts on, which isn't a perfect match.
No sort of fashion police at all, Rammer, but it's like they've forgotten their shorts, isn't it?
Yeah, no doubt.
The jumper's great, but the colour of the jumper's great. Doesn't quite match with the navy shorts with the royal blue jumper.
Nope.
Are you sitting in Pickett pocket or what? A Wizard Bay?
I'm with the Wizard today. I'm with the Hawks.
I'm with the Demons.
Pickett pocket for me. What about for you?
Yep, Pickett pocket for me as well. Let's get ready to go. They're both at the centre bounce, Watson and Pickett. And Max Gawn grabs the ball out of the ruck to start. Gets a hand pass forward towards Chandler. His handball picked off by Amon. Hawks go back the other way. Kick out towards Ginnivan, who marks in front of Bowie. In game 100 for Jack, who's got it on the wing. Tishes a handball back to Impey. Whacks him with Guinea. And Guinea gets it a second time. Turns and kicks down to half forward. Leaping up and an intercept mark for Lever, and he's got it at half-back for the D's. No late change coming in. And just repeating the earlier result, a big win for Adelaide by 68 points over the Roos.
Lever moves it on to Langdon, kicks to the pocket, mopped up there by Howes, gets a handball away. Under the pump now, Sharp, tackled into the ground. His head bounces off it as well. Port holding the ball. Hawthorn ball, it'll go to Hardwick. So just too far out to score. He stabs it inside 50 and Lewis leads up and marks. 40 metres out, 45-degree angle, left half forward.
It's got about 16 metres, but good opportunity for Mitch Lewis here to hit the scoreboard early and tonight, Rammer. This is his time, isn't it? Yeah. He's been building nicely, I think. Great to see him stack some games of footy. And this is his chance. As you said, no Chol, no Gunston. It's his forward 50 tonight. He's got a big job, A, to hit the scoreboard, and B, to keep Harrison Petty and Jake Lever busy.
Contract year for Mitch Lewis. 27 years of age. His drop punt here is pretty good into the woodwork. Looked good for a lot of the way, just a little narrow. So the first score, a minor, won the way of the Hawks, one behind. We've played 97 seconds. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
We've got our answer from Sam Mitchell, Rammer. Finn McGuinness straight to Cozzy Pickett. And you wouldn't think he'll stray too far from him today.
Bowie with the kick-out duty, second game back. Nice to see him back out there. Takes a little bit of ground, goes long to half-back, and a free kick for Jefferson to get it on the back flank for the D's. 2 minutes in, one behind for the Hawks. 4 changes at selection, only one of them optional. Now the 3 forced. Long kick down the wing. Gawn and Fritsch both in the pack. No marks. Spills down to Impey. He's bowled over, and into his back goes Laurie. Free kick for the Hawks and for Impey.